Chapter 45-78. Tell me, kid. As long as I can do it, I'll do my best to help you. Master Wu didn't want to cry during such a precious meeting with Su Yu in his dream, so he held back his tears. Su Yu hesitated for a long time before saying slightly, "Master, speak. Can you help me erase everyone's memories of me?" Su Yu's voice was very soft. However, Master Wu still heard him clearly. "You." Master Wu didn't expect Su Yu to do this. "I know that after I leave, my family and friends will be in pain. My grandfather is already so old, and he still has to send his grandson off. My mother's health isn't good, and if she continues to be depressed, I'm afraid she won't be able to hold on for long. Although my father doesn't say it and is very strict, he is full of love for me. Mian might not be able to get over it. When the time comes, she will have a grudge against Qin Chu, which will be even worse. She never loved me to begin with. Don't make it seem like my death will be passed down for eternity. That's not my original intention, so you want to erase everyone's memories of you." Master Wu looked at Su Yu. "Yes. Do you know that if you erase these memories, then you'll never exist in that world? No one will remember you, including your two most loved ones, Pudding and Little Bean. I know, it's better to forget than to continue to suffer. I'm really happy in this world. I can see my brothers, my family, and the girl I love. I don't want anything else, but I can't harm everyone. Do you have to be so ruthless to yourself?" Master Wu felt that he had never seen someone as ruthless to himself as Su Yu. Everyone else asked their family to remember them, afraid that they would be forgotten. Su Yu's request for everyone to forget about him would reduce a lot of pain. This idea was indeed shocking. "Master, please help me, or rather, let everyone be free." After Su Yu finished speaking, he knelt down and kowtowed 3 times to Master Wu. Master Wu's eyes were red. Who said that the sons of rich families were immoral? Who said that the sons of rich families were not filial? Su Yu, this kid, had done a series of things. He had already reached a height that many so-called good people would never be able to reach in their lifetime. "Get up. What are you doing?" "Master, I actually feel bad for my grandpa and Mian. I heard that it was my grandpa who ordered the euthanasia. His heart must have been in so much pain. Ever since I was a kid, my grandpa has always doted on me. My grandpa is a righteous man, but he only dotes on me. I heard that Mian gave me the injection herself. She must have been devastated. She must have felt guilty and sorry for me. Yes, her wedding with Qin Chu has been postponed indefinitely. I can see that Huamin is very sad. On the anniversary of your death, she even carried the little guy to pay respects to you. That's why I said that I don't want everyone to work so hard for me. I'm already someone who doesn't exist in that world. I don't want to leave in the end and still feel uneasy, dragging them down. Then, do you really have the heart to let everyone forget about you?" "Yes, as long as they're happy. So what if they forget about me?" Su Yu smiled, but it was obvious that there was a hint of bitterness in his smile. "So, Master, please. You're an expert, you must have a way." "There is a way, but they definitely won't be willing." Master Wu sighed. "Then don't let them know. Maybe when they wake up one morning, they won't remember Su Yu anymore." "Okay, but I have a condition." Master Wu looked at Su Yu and emphasized his words. Chapter 45-79. Go ahead, Master. Get up first, I'll talk. Master Wu really couldn't bear to see this guy kneel in front of him like an obedient child. Actually, Su Yu was the most disobedient disciple. He didn't let him enter the dream a second time, but he still went. He knew that he would die, but he still went. Everyone was back, but he was the only one who stayed in that lonesome place for so long. In the end, it was the Su family's old master who gave the order. Once they opened their mouths, they would die. He gave Suyu a way out. Hearing Master Wu's words, Suyu stood up slightly. I only have one request. I don't want to forget you. If I forget, you'll disappear from that world completely. Master Wu's words touched Suyu and made him want to cry. Master, fine, don't cry. I'm not here to see you whine. I'll ask you one last time, are you sure you're not going back to that world? Yes, I'm not going back. I want to stay here. Suyu turned around resolutely. He firmly believed that it might not be a good thing for him to go back. If he went back, he would be sandwiched between Qin Chu and Huamin, making things difficult for the couple. Now that he could have Mian all to himself here, why would he go back? He had his family and buddies here, so there was no difference. Most importantly, Han Yueyao wasn't the woman Suyu liked. Even if the whole world thought that they were compatible, what could he do if he didn't love her? Love was so magical. Suyu had lived for others his entire life. When he was young, for the glory of his family, he went to the special forces in his teens and suffered a lot. When he grew up, he didn't want to be a second-generation heir and rely on his parents, so he founded his own company and was self-sufficient. Then, he met Huamin and loved him for many years. But in the end, he didn't get a response from Huamin. They were still friends. As for Han Yueyao, she was just as tragic as him, falling in love with someone she shouldn't have. Fortunately, Han Yueyao was still young. Without him, she would have to marry someone in the future. Suyu had been giving selflessly all his life. Now, he was tired. He wanted to live for himself. He wanted everyone to give him a way out. He didn't want to go back and be a bachelor for the rest of his life, nor did he want to marry a woman he didn't love. Life shouldn't be like this. It wasn't easy for her to leave that heart-wrenching world and start a new life. I really don't want to go back anymore, Master, this time. I want to be a selfish person. I want to live for myself. Suyu said. Master Wu nodded. Then I'll ask you one last question. Are you sure you don't want anyone to remember you? Yes, I don't want them to feel the pain of losing me. To me, I've already been reborn in this parallel world. I don't have any conflicts with that world. Qin Chu and Mian are doing well in that world, and they have 3 children. Old Wei and Old Tang have their own families as well. I'm just sorry for my family. So, Master, please help them forget about me. Please, okay, I promise you, Master Wu said firmly. Thank you, Master. Suyu couldn't help but kowtow 3 more times. I won't come back to see you in your dreams anymore. If you break this connection, you won't be able to contact that world anymore. I know. Suyu nodded. Take care of yourself in the future. You too, Master. Master Wu wanted to say something, but his figure had already turned into specks of starlight. Suyu suddenly woke up from his dream. He couldn't describe how he felt. He looked at his phone. It was 1 a.m. Chapter 4580. When Suyu woke up, he saw the ceiling of the ward. However, thinking about what happened just now, it might not have been a dream. After all, he couldn't have dreamed of his master for no reason. The last time he saw his master, they were talking about the parallel world. So this time, his master might have entered a dream with him. Suyu looked at the red string on his wrist and felt a lot more comforted. Suddenly, he couldn't fall asleep. He picked up his phone, thought for a moment, and added Huamin. He thought that even if he was rejected, it would be tomorrow morning. However, to his surprise, Huamin accepted it immediately. Suyu was dumbfounded. Suyu, didn't your account get hacked? Huamin, only you can ask such an idiotic question. Suyu, you finally added me, happy. Huamin, look at how tiger-like you are. Suyu, for you, so what if I'm tiger-like once? Huamin, don't talk nonsense. Why aren't you sleeping at night? Are you harassing the girls on WeChat one by one? Sending a group message. Suyu, am I such a tasteless person? Huamin, you are. Suyu, Mian, it's so late. Why aren't you asleep? Do you miss me too much? Do you want to move in with me? Huamin, move your head. Suyu, don't misunderstand. This is a suite. There's a separate guest room. My mom stayed there when she was first hospitalized. Huamin, if I move there, South Side will explode. Suyu, that's good. If it explodes, we'll build a new hospital. Huamin, Suyu, is your fever still not gone? Suyu, yeah, it's still 39. 8 degrees. Huamin, really? Liar, you're a husky. Suyu, if you're happy, you can even call me a teddy bear. Huamin, you're a man, aren't you disgusting? Is it good to say such sweet words? Suyu, good, very good. I like it. Huamin, I'm going to sleep. Suyu, Emsham, good night. Huamian didn't reply, but Suyu felt warm inside. She had added him. Perhaps it was because they had spent more time together tonight, so Huamian didn't want to be so cruel. Huamian went to the bathroom in the middle of the night and checked her phone. Suyu, Suyu was indeed a person with an illustrious identity, but Huamin thought to himself. Firstly, he didn't seduce him, and secondly, he didn't borrow money. It should be fine to add him on WeChat. That was why he accepted it with such a calm heart. She didn't expect Suyu to be as excited as a husky. He was still full of energy at night. Later on, she was so sleepy that she didn't reply to anything Suyu said. She went back to her room in a daze and fell asleep. The next morning, Suyu woke up early and stared at the window with a pair of binoculars to see when Mian would arrive. And, who was delivering breakfast, was shocked. Boss, are you looking at Miss Hua? Emichim, Suyu only nodded and continued to look.
There are so many medical staff coming and going. Can you see clearly? And found it too strange. That's why I sent someone to deliver a pair of military binoculars. Suyu was full of confidence. And was so angry that he almost laughed. Who would use military binoculars to look at a girl? What a waste of this equipment. It cost tens of thousands, and it was specially used by the military. Now, the boss was like a silly dog, holding a pair of binoculars. All he knew was that he was looking at the girl he loved. Those who didn't know better would think that he was peeping at the old auntie taking a shower. Boss, let's eat breakfast first. We'll look later. Boss, you have to be good, and coaxed the boss.
Chapter 45-81. Leave it there first. I'm not hungry, so I won't eat it yet. Suyu was determined to see Huamin. He stood by the window more than an hour in advance. Boss, it won't taste good if it gets cold. It's okay, I'm not afraid of the cold. And, by the way, have you packed the food I asked you to pack? Yes. After their morning meeting, you can give it to Mian. Okay. And nodded. At this moment, Suyu saw Huamin coming to work in casual clothes. Perhaps it was because of the warm weather, she was only wearing a white short-sleeved shirt, a pair of jeans, and flat shoes. The bag she was carrying wasn't a big brand, but it was in a good style. It wasn't ostentatious, but it was elegant. Huamin had a simple ponytail today and walked in with her colleagues. They were chatting and laughing. Suyu watched them attentively, afraid that he would miss a shot. The military binoculars were extremely powerful. After zooming in, he could even see the tiny mole on Huamin's face. Suyu didn't put down the binoculars until Huamin walked into the building. Then, he went into the bathroom to wash his hands before coming out to eat. His appetite had been inexplicably good these few days. The hot buns, soup, and pickled vegetables that An bought were all delicious. It was made at a breakfast restaurant that Suyu often went to. After the morning meeting, Huamin returned to the duty station. It was the day's shift today. And walked over with the packed breakfast in his hand. Miss Hua. Huamin saw An and nodded politely. Hello. My boss asked me to give this to you. Please enjoy. With that, An put down the things and ran away. He was afraid that he wouldn't be able to report back if Miss Hua rejected him. Hey. Huamin wanted to say something, but it was too late. She opened the food box and saw crystal shrimp dumplings, a box of fresh dumplings, 2 hot sesame seed cakes, some side dishes, and a bowl of soup. This was an incomparably luxurious breakfast. The nurse next to him stole a glance. Ayo, isn't this the most famous breakfast restaurant? It's very expensive. The last time I went to eat with my boyfriend, it wasn't that expensive. It only cost more than 300 yuan. Yours should cost more than 500 yuan, at least. Huamin rubbed his forehead awkwardly. Mian, wasn't that young Master Su's driver? Young Master Su gave that to you, right? Oh my god. Young Master Su likes you. Huamin didn't know what to do with his colleague's shock. Wasn't Suyu being a little overzealous towards her? When the nurse said that, a few people who were chatting nearby also heard it and ran over. They surrounded Huamin and breakfast. Sister Mian, what's going on? Sister Mian, it's really a gift from young Master Su. Young Master Su is so nice to you. Yeah, Sister Mian, if you become successful, don't forget about us. Huamin, cough, 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 everyone, calm down. It's not what you think. Suyu and I didn't know each other before. It's not because he's a very delicate person. I only went to his clinic because he has high requirements for injections. Besides, he had a fever yesterday and I was the one who prescribed the fever medicine. I think he's just thanking me. He's just rich and generous. Maybe he'll donate 3,000 to 5,000 yuan to a beggar on the street. So, in his eyes, this breakfast probably isn't as good as his golden retrievers, Huamin explained awkwardly. Then we want to eat like the golden retriever. Mian, I heard that if young Master Su likes someone, that person will be rich. You have to seize the opportunity, I have faith in you. After explaining so much, no one believed him. They kept talking about how she and Suyu were doing. Huamin was exhausted. He wasn't in the mood to eat breakfast, so he shared it with everyone. After a while, at 10 a.m., Huamin went to Suyu's ward in his white coat. Suyu. I have something to tell you. Chapter 4582. Suyu was washing his face and shaving when he heard Huamin's voice. He ran out of the bathroom in the middle of shaving with a razor in his hand. What's wrong? Ahem. I'll talk to you later. Seeing that Suyu was in such a hurry, Huamin felt a little embarrassed and wanted him to finish first. Okay, wait for me. Suyu turned around and ran into the bathroom. He came out in 3 minutes. He sat on the sofa across from Huamin and looked at her. What? You don't want to pass and want to marry me? Suyu teased her. Don't mess around. I'm here to tell you not to let your assistant bring me breakfast. What's wrong? Does it not taste good? No, it's easy to attract gossip, Huamian said directly. For example, Suyu asked her. Huamin blushed and lowered her head. My colleagues misunderstand and think that there's something going on between us. Are you kidding me? Do you think my taste is that bad? Huamin looked up at Suyu in surprise. You're a little nurse and I'm a super rich man. There's a huge difference in status. That's true. Huamin wasn't angry and said calmly. I asked my assistant to buy breakfast to thank you for helping me get rid of my fever yesterday. I heard that you didn't want the money, so I wanted to buy something. It's nothing, don't take it to heart. Even my bodyguards eat more than you. This is a luxury for poor people like you, but it's nothing to me. Okay, I'm overthinking it. Emichim, I know that you're a professional, Miss Hua. I chose you because I trust your skills. I've heard about your performance at the first hospital. I'll have to continue to trouble you while I'm hospitalized. If you need anything, just let me know. I don't need anything. This is my job as a nurse. With that, Huamin turned around and left. He seemed a little lonely. Suyu's earlier enthusiasm really gave her the illusion that he liked her. However, Suyu had also made it very clear just now. The reason why he was close to her was because she was professional enough. Huamin's suspicions were dispelled and he no longer thought about it. Instead, he felt much more at ease. After Huamin left, and hurriedly knocked on the door and entered. Boss, are you crazy? I'm fine. Suyu picked up an apple and started munching on it. And hurriedly snatched it and helped the boss wash and peel it. But I heard you scolding Miss Hua loudly when I was at the door. Reprimand? I don't think so. At most, I just talked to her. Then aren't your words too hurtful? Not only did the bodyguards at the door hear it, even the gossipy nurses heard it. I want them to hear it. Aren't you not giving Miss Hua face? And didn't understand what his boss was trying to do. I didn't. I'll have more chances to see Mian in the future. If I tell her that I like her, she'll avoid me from now on. I'm taking a step back in order to advance. Mian has a lot of pride and cares about what her colleagues think. I don't want her to be the scapegoat for no reason. After all, I'm the cause of this. And handed over the peeled apple and was even more confused. Boss, do you really like Miss Hua? I don't, Suyu answered straightforwardly. Then you're treating her like Sunday. Are you playing with her? And felt that his boss had gone overboard this time. Miss Hua was really a good person. Unexpectedly, Suyu said something that shocked him again. Chapter 4583. Suyu turned around and stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling window in the ward. He looked out the window and said word by word, I don't just like her. I love her. I love her very much. And rarely saw his boss being so gentle. Basically, Suyu would only be gentle to his mother. But this kind of tone, this kind of gentleness, was something that had never happened before. It did not seem like he was spouting nonsense. Boss, you've only known her for a short time, and you're already talking about love. Isn't this a little, and did not have a girlfriend, so he could not understand. His boss had only known the nurse for a few days, and he mentioned that he loved her very much. Many people said that love at first sight was not about the person, but about the face. If you were good-looking, the other party would have a good impression of you if you went on a blind date. However, and thought about it carefully. Miss Hua did not belong to the category of stunning beauty. Her face could only be considered delicate and pleasant to look at. She was well-dressed and had a high EQ. In the past few years, Star King Entertainment had been at its peak. The female artistes who joined were all big shots. There were also a few who were groomed by Suyu himself. Zhao Qingya, Jian Tong, Nia Lingxian, and some of the rising female groups were all youthful and beautiful. All of them beat this nurse in terms of looks, but why did the boss, even though An had been with Suyu for many years, he could not understand. Suyu took a bite of the apple, turned around, and smiled slightly. Do you believe in déjà vu? Shaoan seemed to be a little confused. Although I haven't known her for long, I have a strong sense of familiarity. I think she should be the woman I loved deeply in my previous life. Suyu's words were about his previous life. With An's level of education, he could not understand. Suyu did not tell An too much. He would probably be even more confused if he told him about the parallel world. Therefore, he directly talked about the déjà vu theory and his previous life. And suddenly felt that his boss was different from before. After waking up from the car accident, he felt that he was much more mature and steady than before. The most important thing was that the moment he opened his mouth, it was all kinds of chicken soup for the soul. And was still puzzled. His boss's CT scan showed that his brain was not injured at all. But why does it feel different from before? After that breakfast, Suyu didn't take extra care of Huamin anymore. He knew Huamian too well. If he did too much, too shameless, it would arouse her suspicion and disgust. Therefore, he decided to take a step back in order to advance. He didn't want to push the brat too hard. It would be troublesome if that happened. Sure enough, Suyu behaved normally for the past few days, and Huamin was more at ease. She came to check on Suyu on time, gave him an injection, gave him medicine, and reminded him to go for regular checkups. Another 3 days passed in the blink of an eye tonight. Huamin is on the night shift. At 8:00 in the evening, she came to check the wards. Suyu had already laid down to rest early, obediently lying in the ward. Do you have any activities today? Yes, I did. I went for a walk in the garden in the morning and at noon. I think my leg is fine now. Huamin nodded. Although a ligament injury is not a small matter, you have to be careful in the future. Don't do strenuous exercise. What do you mean by strenuous exercise? Suyu asked her on purpose. Huamin understood immediately. She coughed lightly and said, ahem. I'm talking about running, skipping rope, playing basketball. You can't do those. It takes 100 days to recover from a ligament injury. You have to take good care of yourself. Oh. It seems like I misunderstood. I thought I would have to hold it in for a long time, Suyu said naturally. Suyu was so direct that Huamin blushed even more. Mian, your face is so red. Are you wearing too much? Suyu continued to show concern. Chapter 45-84. Suyu, stop talking nonsense. Huamin was so angry that he pointed at his nose and scolded. Ha ha ha, calm down. Come, sit here. I'll peel an apple for you. I don't want an apple. I want durian. Huamin was still angry. You have a strong taste. Why do you care? I don't care, I don't dare to care. I'll send someone to buy it now. And boss, what can I do for you? And entered the ward immediately. Buy durian for our nurse. Durian. Shaoan hesitated for a moment. I want the best variety. How many? Before Huamin could say anything, Suyu made a decision. Buy as many as you can. Suyu, you're crazy. Huamin was surprised. Don't you want to eat it? I'm eating it myself, not wholesale. Can I eat so much? Just buy one. No, one is too little. Then buy a box. I remember that there are 6 in a box. Okay, boss. after receiving the order, and turned around and left like a gust of wind. Only Suyu and Huamin were left in the ward. Suyu glanced at the fruit baskets piled up like a small hill. Can you take these out and share them with everyone later? Why? You can keep them for yourself or give them to your bodyguards and assistant. They're tired of eating them. Huamin was speechless. Can I apply to be your bodyguard? I have enough bodyguards. I still need a wife. Do you want to try? Forget it, forget it. I don't have the fortune. Every time Suyu joked about this, Huamin would tactfully refuse, or even directly refuse. Suyu picked up an imported orange and peeled it for Huamin. Then, he even removed all the white silk inside. In the end, a clean orange was handed to Huamin. Wow! Are you a Virgo? So powerful. As a Virgo, even Huamin did not have that much patience. She had peeled the tangerine into such a perverted state. No. Suyu denied with a smile. Huamin didn't say anything. Instead, he lowered his head and ate the orange silently. She didn't know if it was because it was expensive or if it was just a psychological effect, but for some reason, she felt that this orange was very sweet. Is it good? Suyu sat opposite her, looking at her seriously and asking gently. Huamin nodded, but he still didn't dare to raise his head. Mian, I'm leaving the hospital tomorrow. So fast. Well, since you've recovered, I can't stay here. Otherwise, you won't like me. Nonsense. If I didn't like you, would I serve you like an ancestor? Huamin retorted. Then. So, you like me. Don't talk nonsense. I just think that we're fated to be friends. Do you have a lot of friends of the opposite sex? Suyu was slightly jealous. Not a lot. I don't have many friends, Huamin said honestly. What about Ning Ziyuan? Come on. You can even kill the conversation. Are you looking for death? Why do you keep mentioning that scumbag? Huamin was furious at the mention of Ning Ziyuan. Suyu also checked. In this parallel world, there were some differences between this world and the other one. In that world, Ning Ziyuan married Wu Xiaoxue and had a daughter. Later, he emigrated abroad and lived a peaceful life. However, in this world, he was with a nurse named He-Man. It was also because of this that Huamin was transferred from the first hospital to South Side. It was said that she was already discussing marriage with Huamin. Later, he cheated on the nurse and got her pregnant. The nurse, He-Man, refused to abort the child, and the whole city knew about it. Huamin broke up with him and slapped that guy, cutting off all ties with him. Speaking of which, Huamin was quite pitiful to be betrayed by such a scumbag. I just want to say that guy is blind. But I thanked him. Suyu smiled mysteriously. Chapter 4585. Huamin froze slightly but didn't say anything. Suyu continued, that kid doesn't know what's good for him. What's that saying again? People don't know what's good for them, they mistake pearls for dust. Okay, stop praising me. Actually, a normal man would make the same choice. I've been with Ning Ziyuan for 3 years, but I've never been nice to him. I've always been indifferent to him. He-Man is younger than me, prettier than me. She has big breasts. I heard that she comes from a good family. Anyway, it's normal for him to cheat on her. You're still speaking up for scumbags? Suyu was slightly surprised. No, I just think that there's nothing wrong with him doing this before we get married. If he cheats on me after we get married, wouldn't I be ruined? Yeah, you're right. Anyway, I'm grateful to Ning Ziyuan for being blind and giving me a chance. Suyu smiled. Don't talk nonsense. Huamin lowered his head and continued eating his orange. Mian, yeah. Does Hua Xiqian harass you often? Why do you ask? Huamin was surprised. I'm just asking. I heard that he's very perverted and even seduced female artists under my company. Don't you often seduce him too? Huamin's words almost made Siyu choke to death. Ahem. Let's not talk about the past anymore. That's only what people see on the surface. The current me is the real me. Suyu said seriously. Now. You who seduced a nurse. Huamin laughed. Fuck. Can't we have a pleasant conversation? You just said that I could kill a conversation. Let's see if you can make a conversation come back to life. Huamin laughed. He felt that Suyu was actually quite humorous. Suyu looked at her smile and was instantly satisfied. He remembered that when he finally left that world, everyone had fallen into a nightmare. At that time, Huamin was already 9 months pregnant, but her face was full of worry. Suyu couldn't remember the last time he saw Huamin smile so brightly. Therefore, when she saw Huamin smile, she suddenly felt that all the suffering she had suffered in the past was worth it. What are you looking at? Is there something on my face? Seeing Suyu staring at him in a daze, Huamin felt a little uncomfortable. Yes, there's orange water. Really? Huamin quickly got up and looked at himself in the mirror. You even believed my lies. Idiot. Suyu's little trick worked, and he couldn't help but laugh. Huamin reflexively threw a punch at him. Fortunately, Suyu reacted in time. He stretched out his hand and caught the smelly girl's fist. It was the first time their hands had been in such intimate contact. Suyu only felt a cold sensation in his palm. It was a familiar feeling that he hadn't felt in a long time, but he also felt very happy. Even his heartbeat sped up. Huamin felt the same way. When she was with Ning Ziyuan, the number of times they held hands was very few. She was a clean freak and hated physical contact with others, even if it was a girl. However, Zhu Lingling was an exception. She was her best friend. When Huamin realized what had happened, he quickly withdrew his hand, feeling a little embarrassed. I couldn't tell. You're quite a scheming person. You took advantage of me when you were about to hit me. My tender hands were destroyed by your iron fists. Suyu was making a false accusation. Huamin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Your skin is as thick as tempered glass. You have the nerve to say that. You obviously did it on purpose, Huamin retorted. I was just defending myself, big sister. You obviously reached out your hand to violate me. Luckily, I reacted quickly. Otherwise, I would have been pinned to the bed and executed on the spot. Huamin. Chapter 4586. Feeling awkward, Huamin cleverly changed the topic. Suyu, what did you just ask me? Suyu. Huamin's train of thought was amazing, even though she didn't have Professor Liu and Dr. Lin Ye's excellent genes in this world. However, Huamin's genes couldn't be underestimated. Huamin was still very smart. Oh, right, I remember, you just asked me if Hua Xiqian harassed me. Suyu, do you know what our relationship is? Huamin deliberately asked. Blood-related siblings. Suyu only dared to be so confident after he had done his research. Huamin nodded. To be precise, we're half-siblings. Hua Xiqian is Hua Xinghai's first wife, and my mother is the mistress. Speaking of this, Huamin's expression was a bit complicated. It took guts to be able to say that one's mother was a mistress so bluntly. It was better than those green tea bitches who insisted that there was nothing wrong with being a mistress. Yu quickly tried to smooth things over for her. You can't say that. I heard that Hua Zhenghai and your mother fell in love and lived together. Hua Xiqian's mother was forced into a marriage arranged by the family. The despicable one is Hua Zhenghai. He was already married, but he lied to your mother, saying that it was true love. He said that he would divorce. In the end, he didn't do anything when she gave birth to you. Then, your mother resolutely remarried with you. Hua Zhenghai felt humiliated and never acknowledged you as his daughter. So, you can't blame your auntie. I don't care about being acknowledged by the Hua family. I don't care about his wealth. My stepfather is very good to me. I have a little brother now, and our family of 4 is very happy. I understand. Anyways, no matter what, I'll support your decision, as long as you're happy. Yu began to stir up emotions. Hua Min chuckled. What are you laughing at? I'm serious. Yu tilted his head and looked at her. Hua Min continued to joke around. Who do you think you are? You support me no matter what. Don't you think you're being too friendly? No, I know. I will definitely become your husband, so your business is my business. Shameless. Hua Min laughed. For you, I can be shameless. As the saying goes, as long as you take me seriously, your business is my business. If you don't take me seriously. After that, Yu glanced at Hua Min. Hua Min stared at him without blinking. Hua Min knew what the second half of the sentence was. It all depended on what Yu said. Yu hesitated for a moment and then said, if you don't take me seriously, I'll take you seriously. Upon hearing this, Hua Min burst into laughter. What are you laughing at? I'm serious. I can spoil you unconditionally, until I die. Don't talk nonsense. How young are you? Why would you die? Hua Min didn't seem to want to hear these unlucky words. Yu sighed in his heart. Mian, I've already died for you in that world once. I hope you won't let me down this time. Yu, did you use your glib tongue to trick those girls? Pfft, do you look down on me that much? Yu looked proud. What else? Hua Min crossed his arms. Of course, they came to me voluntarily. In the end, it's all for money. I've never mistreated anyone. Aren't you afraid that I'm also doing it for money? Hua Min asked him. Yu's eyes lit up. Do you mean you agree to be with me? Chapter 4587. Hua Min was speechless. Mian, is that true? Really? Yu instantly turned into a husky and looked at Hua Min pitifully. Before Hua Min could finish speaking, and barged in. Boss, I bought the durians. Fortunately, I arrived in time, or else they would have sold them out. There's a box in total, but this one is bigger, so there are only 4 in it. However, it's very delicious. I tried the sample in the box next to it. And rushed in excitedly. Yu raised his hand and pointed at him. You don't have this month's salary. And was speechless. Hua Min was speechless. And looked aggrieved. Boss, why? I did well. I did whatever you told me to do. I even bought the durians, and you're still treating me like this. You came in at the wrong time. Yu was so angry that his head hurt. Just as he felt that he had made some progress with Hua Min, this brat barged in like a hothead and interrupted Hua Min's words. However, Hua Min didn't want to say anything. It would be a lie to say that he had fallen for Yu in the past few days. Hua Min wasn't that impulsive. He had always liked to take things slowly. Hua Min took the opportunity to stand up. And give me the durians. I'll carry them back myself. No, no, no. I've already made a mistake. If I let you carry them back, I'll be fired. And finally understood how important Miss Ho was. How was she a nurse? She was a god, she was an immortal who could make Suyut submit to her. Seeing that Suyut didn't retort, and quickly helped Hwamin carry the durians out. Suyu, thank you for the durians. If you marry me, I'll buy you a box a day, Suyu joked. Pfft. Am I that cheap? You think a box of durians is enough? Hwamin rolled his eyes. As long as you're willing, what's mine is yours. What's yours is still yours. Imperial Star Entertainment will be yours. My billion-dollar fortune will be yours. My mansion and car will be yours, and you can continue to be a nurse. As long as you're happy. In a moment of desperation, Suyu confessed, although it still sounded like a joke. Ahem. Boss, a man has to have integrity, and reminded. I don't have integrity, I just want my wife. I'm not talking nonsense. Boring. Feeling awkward, Hwamian turned to leave before he could say anything else. Hwamian's Hwamian s after Hwamin, Hwamian, a. He took out his phone and video called his mother. You. Mrs. Su's face was filled with tenderness. Mom, I'll be discharged tomorrow. So sudden. Mom will pick you up tomorrow morning. No, no. I want to be discharged quietly. Don't let anyone come. What's wrong, son? Are you unhappy at Southside? Is someone rude to you? No, no. Southside is great. I don't want to be discharged. Don't say such unlucky things. Why do you have to stay in the hospital? Lady Su was superstitious and didn't think the hospital was good. Haha, I'm joking. Mom. I miss you a lot. Silly child. How's Grandpa? Grandpa isn't back yet. He'll probably be in Jing City next week. What about Dad? Your dad is still on a business trip in Hong Kong. Mom. You must be lonely. There are only 4 people in the Su family, and none of the 3 men are home. Suyu felt sorry for his mother. After living a new life, he had to cherish his family even more. It's okay, I'm used to it. Mom, I'll be discharged tomorrow. I want to go home for dinner, and then I'll accompany you to Pear Garden to watch opera, Suyu said. I thought you didn't like Beijing opera. Lady Su was surprised. But Mom, you like it. I'll accompany you. Suyu's words warmed Lady Su's heart. Why did you suddenly? Are you in a relationship? Lady Su knew her son better. Chapter 4588. No, 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 we haven't talked about it yet, you haven't. What do you mean? Lady Su felt that there was a hidden meaning in her son's words. It's just that I haven't caught up to her yet. When I do, I'll bring her home for you to see. Could it be another female artist from your company in the entertainment industry? Lady Su was a little worried. No, no, definitely not, Suyu denied firmly. Then, Mom, I'm really not joking this time. I'm serious. If she agrees, I want to get married, and have children. Life is short. I want to have fun while I can. You finally thought it through. Lady Su was overjoyed to hear her son say this. In the past, no matter who said it, it was useless. Lady Su had always felt that her son didn't believe in marriage and was still far from getting married and having children. Now that he suddenly said this, Lady Su immediately saw hope. Okay, let's not talk about it anymore. Mom, I'm a little sleepy. See you tomorrow. Oh right. I want to eat your wontons. It's stuffed with 3 delicacies, right? Lady Sue smiled gently. Yes, yes, yes. You have to prepare more of my favorite food. I must have a big meal. Okay, okay, okay. Mom will definitely prepare it. Rest well. After hanging up the phone, Siu felt sleepy. Then, he slowly fell asleep. This time, what he was having was indeed a dream. Because the people in the dream couldn't see him or communicate with him. It was as if he was watching a movie alone, replaying the scenes one by one. Master Wu gathered everyone together and said that after they entered the dream, there were still some things that needed to be done. They needed to do a ritual to get rid of some bad luck. He even brought everyone to Jiangnan town, which was where the Su family lived in seclusion. At that time, Lord Su was already retired. He played chess and drank tea every day, but the Su family never forgot about Su Yu. Master Wu used some unknown method to make everyone fall asleep. When they woke up, everyone was different. Everyone had a happy gathering, drinking and eating. Pudding and Little Bean sat in Lord Su's arms. Little Bean even playfully stroked Lord Su's beard. A smile that hadn't appeared on Lady Su's face for a long time also appeared. Wamin held the baby and nestled in Qin Chu's arms. During the meal, the baby cried. Qin Chu hurriedly picked him up and took a stroll in the garden. Everything seemed so harmonious. Siu finally understood. It seemed that his wish had come true. Everyone in that world had forgotten about him in the end. Actually, it didn't matter to anyone else. It was mainly the people who were related to him. The Su family and Huamin were the ones who suffered the most. Huamin felt even more guilty. When Pudding asked her that question, she just smiled and didn't say anything. Actually, she didn't indirectly admit that she liked Su Yu. That was because she had always loved Su Yu. From the beginning to the end, she loved him more than family. As for Mr. Qin, it was the love between a man and a woman. Therefore, Su Yu was completely at ease this time. His last wish had been fulfilled by Master Wu. When everyone was gathered happily, Master Wu carried a jar of aged wine to a remote place. It was a cherry blossom tree behind the Su family's house. I've done what you asked me to do. Everyone in this world will forget about you. But I can't. I want to leave behind my only memory as the only evidence that you came to this world. So, in the future, you must be happy. You must. With that, Master Wu took a big gulp of wine. Su Yu realized that the corners of his master's eyes were red. He seemed to be crying. Chapter 45-89. Su Yu held back his tears and called out for his master. However, Master Wu couldn't hear him anymore. Su Yu's wish had been fulfilled, and he couldn't cross the 2 worlds to meet in the future. Not even in his dreams. In the end, Su Yu didn't cry. He looked up at the blue sky. Thank you for forgetting me. This time, I'm going to start over, for myself. Su Yu knew that after forgetting him, his family would feel more relaxed. After forgetting him, Huamin wouldn't feel guilty and would live with Qin Chu without any grudges. After forgetting him, his 2 best friends, Tang Chuan and Wei Liao, would continue to live their own lives with families and children. To everyone, forgetting Su Yu might be the best choice, boss. Boss. After some time, Su Yu was woken up by Anne's voice. What's wrong? Su Yu opened his eyes in a daze. You're being discharged today. So, do I have to go through the discharge procedures myself? No. I'll help you with all this, but you said last night that you had to leave early today. You didn't want Miss Hua to see you. Emichim, Suyu remembered what he said last night. He did say that he would leave early today. He didn't want Mian to see him. Why was he hiding? Because he was afraid that if he saw Mian, he wouldn't be able to bear to leave the hospital, and would stay for another month. If that was the case, Imperial Star wouldn't be far from disbanding. Therefore, even though Suyu didn't want to get out of bed, he forced himself to stay awake. After packing up, Suyu put on a long black casual jacket and a classic MLB baseball cap. He put on a black mask and carried a pair of shoulders as he left the room quietly. Not many people came to pick him up. Lady Su didn't come, and Suyu didn't allow anyone from the company to come. The bodyguards also left, leaving only an in Suyu's sixth element. The master and servant left the hospital quietly. When Suyu left, the sky was still dark. By the time Huamin went to work at 8 a.m., Suyu had already left. Mian, did you know that Suyu was discharged? Yeah, I heard. Huamin knew that Suyu was almost fully recovered and should have been discharged a long time ago. He didn't even tell you about it. Why would he tell me? I'm not related to him. Huamian. Just as he was speaking, the delivery boy came in with a big box on his back. Excuse me, is Huamin here? I am. Huamian looked confused. Hello, this is the breakfast, please enjoy it. Then, the young man took out all the breakfast and took a look. It was the same as the other day. It was from that famous breakfast shop. Even the items they ordered were exactly the same. The funniest thing was that there was a card inside. Huamin held the card. Before she could open it, the nurse beside her snatched it and opened it. She even read it as she read. Thank you for taking care of me during this period of time. Thank you for your hard work. I've recovered and been discharged from the hospital. This breakfast is to thank your department. The signature was Suyu. Seeing this, Huamin felt much more relieved. If it was something mushy, she really wouldn't be able to back down. After all, she had just said a few days ago that she had nothing to do with Suyu. If it was a confession, it would be a slap to her face. Suyu was smart. He knew that everyone would see it, so his tone became so official. The nurses were all very happy. Wow. Young Master Su is so warm. He actually bought us so much delicious food. It seems like it was for our department that day, not Mian. Yeah, young Master Su is thanking everyone. Huamian, on the other hand, felt much more relaxed as everyone gossiped. She took out her phone and secretly sent Suyu a WeChat message. Chapter 4590. Huamin sent Suyu a WeChat message. Suyu had already arrived home and was having dinner with his mother. Suyu picked up his phone and glanced at it. Then, the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. What's the good news? Why are you so happy? The stock market is going up, Suyu said perfunctorily. Lady Su smiled. Obviously, she didn't believe her son, but she didn't ask further. Huamin actually only sent a few simple words, thank you, Suyu. This thank you was meaningful. Suyu understood what she wanted to thank him for. Suyu didn't reply to Huamin. He didn't want to waste time with her. He wanted to use his actions to prove how much he loved Huamin. Lady Su looked at the sweet smile on her son's face and knew that it definitely wasn't about the stock market. Her son was already worth tens of billions, so he didn't care about the stock market at all. Madam, boss, the delivery is here. Delivery? What delivery? Lady Su was slightly stunned. Tell them to put the things at the door and bring them in. Yes. And nodded and turned to leave. Did you buy anything? Lady Sue looked at her son. Just something small. Suyu was vague. After a while, and came in, carrying handbags of big brands. Mom, the temperature will drop next week, and the season is changing. I bought you some autumn clothes, cashmere coats, windbreakers, and cheongsams for you to wear at home. The sizes were custom-made according to your measurements. You haven't gained weight recently, have you? Suyu asked jokingly. Lady Sue smiled with tears in her eyes. She was pleasantly surprised. In fact, Suyu had always been good to his family. It was just that boys were different from girls. Girls were more meticulous and would think of all aspects. He bought thank you gifts for his parents, cigarettes for his father, and a rice cooker for his family. Suyu used to charge money to his mother's card every month. He would transfer 1,000,000 yuan every month. However, Lady Sue basically didn't know how to spend it. She spent the money that Suyu's father earned. She always felt that she could save the money for her son and use it in the future. After experiencing life and death, Suyu cherished his relationship with his family even more. Therefore, this time, he bought a lot of clothes and jewelry for his mother. From the brands, he knew that his mother's favorite. It's obvious how much effort he put in, you. Mrs. Sue was touched. She stood up and looked at the clothes. There's also a custom-made suit for Dad, as well as casual wear for the golf course. That old man is the most old-fashioned. I'm tired of wearing suits all year round. When he comes back, I'll take you guys out to fish and harvest. We must have a family dinner to improve our relationship. Lady Sue covered her mouth and laughed, but her eyes were red. Oh right, there's that. Suyu pointed. That's an ashtray for Grandpa. I don't know anything about antiques, so I asked someone to buy it. The experts have seen it and said it's real, for Grandpa. Why did you suddenly think of buying so many things for us? After all, Lady Sue had watched Suyu grow up. He had changed so much that Lady Sue wasn't used to it. Suyu looked at his mother and said gently, Mom, after this car accident, I narrowly escaped death. I realized a lot. I feel sorry for you guys. You guys raised me. I can't play exciting sports without caring about my life. I have to work hard, fall in love, get married, and have children. I want you, Dad, and Grandpa to enjoy family bliss. Lady Sue was in tears after hearing Suyu's words. Chapter 4591. Suyu would only become a chatterbox when he was with Huamin. Actually, he didn't like to talk much since he was young. He didn't interact much with his family, but he was closer to his grandfather. Therefore, this was the first time Lady Sue had heard her son say so much and buy so many things. She was extremely touched. In the end, she couldn't help but cry. Mom, why are you crying? This is a good thing. Your son is sensible and enlightened. Yes. My Yu has grown up and is an adult. Lady Sue wiped her tears gently with a handkerchief. Mom, don't cry. You won't be pretty if you cry. Lady Sue smiled through her tears and sat down to continue eating with her son. The breakfast was extremely comfortable. After eating, Suyu put on his jacket. Son, are you still going out? Yes. Don't go back to the villa today. Stay at the old residence. Your leg has just recovered. Mom can take care of you. Mom, I'm not going back to the villa. I have to go to the company. I have a lot of work to do recently. I have to go for a meeting. Take care of yourself, Lady Sue reminded him. Definitely. After Suyu left, he led into the parking lot. Boss, where are we going? The company. Okay, I'll drive the car over now. No need, I'll drive myself. Ha! You just got discharged. And was a little worried. Actually, I recovered a long time ago. I just stayed in the hospital for an extra week. Oh. I know. You're here to see Miss Wa. You talk too much, Suyu flicked Anne's head and the two of them walked towards the sixth element. Suyu had been driving for more than 10 years, so he drove very well. The two of them arrived at the city center in 20 minutes. At Imperial Star Entertainment Building, everyone might have seen Suyu wear a casual suit most of the time. So today, he was wearing a black casual outfit and carrying a baseball bat. Like a new generation idol, everyone was about to explode. Wow! That's President Su. He looks a lot younger. That's right. President Su is good-looking to begin with. Now that he's dressed up like this, I'd think he's a handsome trainee from our company. President Su, you're so cool. I like your type. President Su seems to have changed his style today. Everyone was talking at the same time. When Suyu walked close to them, they were all talking at once. All of them bowed in unison. Good morning, President Su. Morning. Suyu smiled. Then, he walked directly to the CEO's private elevator. President Su, you seem to be in a good mood today. Yeah, he actually smiled at us. The female employees were still smitten downstairs. Suyu went straight to the top floor. Shaowen, let the General Management Department inform everyone that there will be a high-level meeting in 10 minutes. It will be held in the 8th meeting room. Okay, what would you like to drink, boss? Water, Didn't you always ask for coffee? I'm going to drink something healthy now because I'm going to have a baby, and almost choked to death. Ever since his boss woke up, he had been talking about having a baby. What was the reason for this? And didn't dare to ask more questions. He poured a glass of water for Suyu and went to inform him. Zhao Qingya was also well informed. She had rushed in before Suyu's meeting. She was dressed very professionally today. She was wearing an orange-yellow shirt with a big bow on the collar. She was wearing a tight black short-sleeved shirt, black stockings, and high heels. She was obviously here to seduce Suyu, President Su. It's great that you're discharged. You must have no idea how much I missed you. Zhao Qingya smiled sweetly. Suyu looked down at his watch. I'll give you 5 minutes. If you have something to say, say it quickly. If not, get out. Chapter 4592. Upon hearing Suyu's tone, Zhao Qingya immediately felt wronged. Her eyes turned red. As expected of an actress, she had some skills. Her tears fell as if she was filming, especially when she was in the right state. Suyu had known about these female artists for a long time. He never thought that anyone was innocent or pure. Of course, if Zhao Qingya and Jian Tong were fine, Nia Lingxian wouldn't have a chance to stand out. She wasn't that popular, therefore, according to the facts, Nia Lingxian was the least scheming among these female celebrities. President Su. What did I do wrong? I'll change, 3 more minutes. Suyu looked at his watch. President Su. I know your family doesn't like women in the entertainment industry. I can give up my future for you. I can give up my career and stay by your side obediently, okay? Zhao Qingya made it sound like she was making a huge sacrifice. However, anyone with a discerning eye knew that quitting the entertainment industry was a small matter. If she could marry into the Su family, she would have no worries for the rest of her life. In the entertainment industry, no matter how rich you were still a low-status actress who could be attacked by internet trolls at any time. If she married into a wealthy and prominent family like the Su family, her status would be different. Then, her status would be different, and the child she gave birth to would also be known as the best reincarnator. How could Zhao Qingya not understand this? That was why she pretended to retreat and told Su Yu that she was quitting the entertainment industry for him. But the problem was, if it weren't for Su Yu, she would still be a B-list model in the entertainment industry. Shouldn't she thank Su Yu for promoting her? She kept saying that she loved him, but Su Yu knew that they were just using each other. There was no such thing as true love. Under Imperial Star, all the women said that they loved Su Yu to death. All these years, Nia Lingxian was the only person he had trusted. She had always kept a low profile and wasn't ambitious. She lived a simple life and didn't have a pile of luxury goods. Therefore, at this moment, Zhao Qingya's confession only made Su Yu feel more amused. Although Su Yu had a bad temper, he wasn't a bad person. He always felt that Zhao Qingya's fate in the other world had something to do with him. Therefore, after coming to this world, he didn't want the tragedy to happen. He only hoped that she would be able to adapt to the circumstances. President Su, I really love you. I can't leave you. Seeing that Su Yu didn't say anything, Zhao Qingya continued to sob and confess. Su Yu lowered his head and looked at the information as he said, if I remember correctly, you had dinner with the second son of the Wang Consortium last month, right? We're friends, Zhao Qingya quickly explained. What about the supper you had with Mr. Shin from Wu's pharmaceutical company last week? President Shen is also my friend. Please don't misunderstand. If the 64-year-old CEO Shin can be friends with you, then you really have a wide circle of friends. Zhao Qingya smiled awkwardly. Then what about the day before yesterday when you spent the night with a certain B-list male celebrity? Did you guys spend the whole night reading the script, or did you guys spend the whole night fighting the landlord? No, it takes 3 people to play the landlord. I'm guessing the 2 of you spent the whole night talking about life. After Su Yu said this, Zhao Qingya's expression was extremely ugly. She had thought that Su Yu was hospitalized and couldn't walk properly, so she would be fine if she ate outside. However, although Su Yu didn't say anything, he understood everything. However, Su Yu didn't care. She wasn't an important woman to begin with. He only said this because he hoped that Zhao Qingya wouldn't bother him in the future. Zhao Qingya knelt down in front of Su Yu. President Su, I was wrong. I'll never do something like this again. Oh. What did you do? Su Yu pretended not to know anything and smiled innocently, making Zhao Qingya feel extremely guilty. Chapter 45-93. Zhao Qingya vaguely felt that Su Yu was different from before. In the past, Su Yu was at most bad-tempered, the type that would explode at any moment. Now, he rarely lost his temper and smiled more often. He was much more cheerful. However, she felt that he was more scheming and had a story to tell. President Su. Zhao Qingya cried as she tried to fight for her last chance. If you don't court death, you won't die. You can continue to make money at the company, and I won't cut your schedule. I won't care who you eat with or spend the night with. But if you meddle in other people's business, don't blame me for being ruthless. I believe you understand. After Su Yu said this, he looked at his watch. It was time. Then, Su Yu pushed open the door and left. Zhao Qingya was stunned. She realized that President Su was definitely a smart person. Zhao Qingya stood up and left the president's office. As she walked, she thought about Su Yu's words. It was obvious that President Su was going to change. In the past few years, President Su had changed his female partners many times. However, everyone heard that Su Yu wasn't interested in sex. He would usually go to a nightclub or have dinner with them. When Zhao Qinya first came to the company, she was still a nobody. At that time, her name wasn't Zhao Qinya, but Zhao Xiaoying. Later, her manager thought that the name was old-fashioned, so she changed it to a classic white lotus. Then, she had dinner with Suyu a few times, which was hyped by the media. That was how she became famous in the past few years. She naively thought that she could develop a deeper relationship with Suyu. Even if she didn't become his wife, she could become his mistress and have a child in the future. With Suyu's wealth and status, she wouldn't have to worry about anything. He would not have to worry about food and clothing for the rest of his life. But now, it seemed that he had been thinking too much. Suyu really didn't have any feelings for her. Could it be because he liked Jian Tong? Other than Mo Shui, who had already terminated her contract and left, Jian Tong was the only person in the company who could compare to her. However, Suyu had clearly warned her that he didn't care what she did. Suyu didn't care. She could no longer meddle in Suyu's affairs. Otherwise, she would lose her job. Zhao Qinya lowered her head and went downstairs with a dark expression on her face. Inside the conference room after finishing his work, Suyu glanced at the chief executive officer. Director Zhang, arrange more schedules for Nie Lingxian. There are some good variety shows that she can participate in. Nie Lingxian. Nie Lingxian wasn't famous yet, so the director couldn't remember who she was. Oh, President Su, are you talking about the little girl who's been with us for a few years? Yes. Suyu nodded. But she doesn't have any talent, and she's not as pretty as Miss Jian and Miss Zhao. That person didn't seem to think highly of this girl. Carry out my orders, okay? Suyu's face darkened as he looked around. Yes, President Su. No one dared to refute. Suyu got up, opened the door, and left. And hurriedly shouted on behalf of his boss, meeting adjourned. Everyone walked out with some apprehension. Why did President Su start to support that newbie all of a sudden? Isn't he close to Miss Zhao? I don't know. Maybe President Su wants to replace her. Is he interested in Nie Lingxian? I've never heard of her interacting with President Su. I feel like she's been playing extras ever since she joined the company. Now, she's still getting 3,000 yuan a month from the company as her transportation fee and some small roles in commercial performances. We can't guess what the president is thinking. Let's carry out his orders. When Suyu returned to his office, Zhao Qinya was already gone. He turned on the stereo and played a lively song. Then, he impatiently took out his phone and sent a WeChat message to Huamin. What time do you get off work? What's the matter? Huamin replied instantly. Yes, there's something big. Suyu pretended to be serious. What's the matter? Just say it, Huamin said in a businesslike tone. Chapter 4594. When I was at the company today, my leg hurt a little. Then. Huamin frowned slightly. Then, I don't know if it's relapsed. I hurt it again. I want you to check it for me. If it's a checkup, you can come to the hospital tomorrow morning. The specialists are there, and the hospital has the equipment, Huamin recommended professionally. I don't want to go to the hospital anymore. I have phobia. After all, I've been here for so long, so I want you to check it for me. I'm just a nurse. But you went to a medical university and majored in obstetrics and gynecology. You're not a simple nurse. I believe you. There was no doubt that Suyu was trying to flatter her. After Huamin saw this WeChat message, he was so angry that he laughed. He was really resourceful. He even knew that she majored in obstetrics and gynecology. The reason why she became a nurse was that she did not have connections and was not paid. It was basically impossible to become a doctor directly, especially a doctor in a tertiary grade hospital. That was why she planned to slowly gain experience. Previously, she was in the obstetrics and gynecology department at the first hospital. However, because she fell out with Ning Ziyuan, she was transferred to South Side, which was difficult to do. Moreover, she was transferred to another department, and the salary was not that high. It was really difficult to say. Su-yu, you said yourself that I majored in obstetrics and gynecology. You're not pregnant, how can I check it for you? My leg is just a little injured. Then you should go to the orthopedics department, Huamin emphasized. Su-yu continued to act shamelessly. Then, why don't you use your obstetrics and gynecology department to check my leg? I give up. Huamin was so angry that he did not know whether to laugh or cry. Okay, I believe in your ability. Okay. In the end, Huamin's heart softened. What time do you get off work? I'll pick you up. No, the whole world knows your car. I'd better take the bus myself. There's no bus near my house. Call a taxi. It must be very expensive, right? Huamin's first reaction was that rich people like to live in the suburbs. The scenery and air were good. About 60 renminbi. I'll send you a red packet and reimburse you. Su-yu directly sent a 200 yuan red packet over to reimburse the return fare. Forget it, I'll just consider myself unlucky. I'm just paying the fare myself. I don't want this small amount of money. In the future, I'll scam you out of a huge sum. Huamin tactfully refused to accept the red packet. He was even being a little mischievous so that everyone would not feel awkward. Su-yu liked her high EQ. If she wasn't extremely angry, she wouldn't embarrass others easily. It wasn't that Huamin was kind. She just felt that one shouldn't be too ruthless and shouldn't speak too harshly. After all, you don't know if you've offended a gentleman or a villain. Therefore, Su-yu was attracted to Mion's high EQ. Although she and Su-yu often argued with each other, everyone else liked Huamin's self-restraint. Although he came from a commoner family, he still lived a carefree and confident life. A confident person had a natural charisma. Okay, then you can pay for the fare yourself. I'll treat you to a big meal. I'll cook at home. How about that? You know how to cook. Huamin was in disbelief. In the other world, Su-yu didn't have many opportunities to eat alone with Huamin. Even when Huamin was pregnant and lived with the Su family, she still lived in the old mansion. Su-yu didn't have many opportunities to be alone with her. Therefore, this time, Su-yu suddenly had the idea to cook for her. After saying that, Su-yu was a little nervous. He was afraid that Mion would reject him. After all, she was such a xenophobic person. Chapter 4595. Sure enough, after Su-yu sent this message, there was no response from the other side for a long time. Su-yu held his phone anxiously. He wanted to ask, but he didn't think it was appropriate. If he didn't ask, he didn't know if she agreed or not. Su-yu opened WeChat and was about to reply. He saw that the other party was typing on WeChat. A few seconds later, he received a reply from Huamin. She said, I don't like fat meat, neither do pork belly. Su-yu was overjoyed when he realized what was going on. He immediately replied, don't worry, I won't let you eat pork belly or fat meat for the rest of your life. Huamin sent a smiling emoji. Su-yu quickly asked, what time are you free? What time will you be there? I'll prepare in advance. I have to get off work at 5:30. It'll take me an hour to change my clothes and take the car there. Around 6:30. Okay, I'll wait for you. Okay. Mion. If you're worried, you can bring your friend and brother along. After all, this is my private villa. I'm afraid you'll hold a grudge against me. I might be a commoner, but I'm not blind. I can still tell if you're a scumbag. Huamin was full of confidence. Really? Then why were you with Ning Ziyuan for 3 years? Fuck. Is Suyu courting death? Huamin laughed in anger. Suyu was really good at poking at her sore spot. Ha ha ha, I'm just teasing you. Don't take it seriously. Alright, let's not talk about it. I have a press conference in the afternoon and then I'll go buy groceries. Don't stand me up. Okay. After Huamin agreed to eat, Suyu felt like the flowers in the world had bloomed. He was so happy that he spun around the office 3 times and even danced a classic Michael Jackson dance. Through the tempered glass, and looked at his boss dancing inside. His jaw almost dropped. Oh. That's my boss. And muttered to himself. After jumping a few times, Suyu was in a good mood. He straightened his clothes, picked up his phone, and walked out. Shaoan, boss, what are your orders? What's your schedule this afternoon? It's a film release for a male artist from our company. There's also a business meeting in the evening. There are a few big shots from the entertainment companies who are all good friends of yours. Not bad. That's not the right word. Other than Master Tang and Master Wei, I don't have any friends. They're just my business partners. Yes. Tonight at the first-class palace, there's a dinner party. The private room is, Suyu waved his hand. Turn it down for me. Aw. Do you have other plans at the last minute? Yes. Not at all. Let me get ready. No need. I know what I'm doing. Suyu had always been hands-on with his company's matters, but he wasn't keen on business gatherings. Come downstairs with me. Let's go to the press conference first. Okay. Suyu led an out. When they reached the first floor, they saw an acquaintance in the hall.
The reason why he said she was an acquaintance was because Suyu was actually very familiar with her, but that was in a different world. Nia Lingxian wasn't famous yet. When she walked up to Suyu, she was very shy. She was wearing a classic floral dress from DG and had light makeup on. There was a different kind of charm in her elegance. President Su. She said in a low voice. Yes. Suyu's tone was very good. And wasn't used to this. Basically, President Su's attitude towards the female artists in the company wasn't very good. He was very cold. President Su, my agent told me about what happened today. Thank you for giving me a chance. Nia Lingxian bowed deeply to Suyu.
Chapter 4596. Suyu was quite surprised to see Nia Lingxian so early. It seemed that the decision in the meeting room today had been conveyed. Suyu also knew that such an abnormal action might cause a sensation in the company. Those scheming female stars would also guess if Suyu had taken a fancy to Nia Lingxian. However, Suyu still felt that he had let her down in the other world. That was why he wanted to give Nia Lingxian a chance. Besides, she was capable. Ah, I've seen your information. You've been in the company for a long time. You've been playing extras these few days. It's been quite tiring, and your acting skills are not bad. The company has always been promoting newcomers. Of course, we have to give the old employees a chance. Work hard. President Su, I won't let you down. Nia Lingxian was a little excited. She looked at Suyu with sparkling eyes. Suyu also felt that he shouldn't give her any illusions and hurt her. Therefore, he should give up on her idea as soon as possible. Suyu smiled. Then go ahead. I'm going to have dinner with my fiancé. Fiancé. Niao Lingxian was stunned by this word. Was he going to marry Zhao Qingya? Before she could finish, Siyu left with a Niao Lingxian always felt that a green tea bitch like Zhao Qingya was not worthy of Suyu. However, Niao Lingxian only admired Suyu. She didn't love him as much as she did in the other world. After Suyu left, Niao Lingxian went to the publicity department. Miss Nia. What's Zhao Qingya's schedule in the afternoon? I was thinking that if she's free, I'd like to have dinner with her. The staff member smiled and believed her words. He quickly found the schedules of all the artists on the computer. Zhao Qingya's column said that she would be flying to another city at 1:00 in the afternoon to promote a new movie and staying at a hotel in another city at night. What a coincidence. Miss Zhao is almost at the airport. Her flight is at 1:00. It's fine. Since she's not here, where's Jian Tong? Niao Lingxian asked with a smile. As for Miss Yiling, there's an interview at the TV station at 1:30 in the afternoon. It seems that someone from the TV station picked her up early and treated her to a meal. Okay, thank you. I'll eat alone. Niao Lingxian walked out of the publicity department with a smile. It wasn't Jian Tong or Zhao Qingya. Then, President Su's fiancé, must be someone else. As long as it wasn't from her company, she was happy for President Su. She always felt that after becoming an artist, the word innocent no longer existed. Although President Su occasionally had a bad temper, he was still a very nice person. If he were to get married, he also hoped to find a girl with a good character. Suyu went to the press conference in the afternoon. When he was done, it was only 3:00. He drove Shaoan to the largest imported supermarket in the city center. Boss, do we need to buy anything? Shaoan was puzzled. Grocery shopping. Do you want to buy groceries and go back to the old house to eat? And thought he was going to buy good ingredients for Lady Su. No, after buying it, we'll go back to the villa and do it. Who did it? And was scared to death. Although he knew how to cook, he only learned his skills in the military cookery class. It wasn't authentic at all. He was afraid that he would waste the ingredients and be scolded by President Su. Of course it's me. Suyu looked proud. Boss, I've been with you for a few years, and I've never seen you cook. Don't make the kitchen explode, okay? Why don't we go out to eat? I'll treat you. You're rich now, and you want to treat me. Can we go to sea return restaurant? I'll eat abalone, sea cucumber, and lobster until you go bankrupt. Suyu looked at Shaoan in amusement. Chapter 4597. No. Boss, leave me some money to cross the river. Don't scam me to the end. How about this, do you want to eat shaved noodles? How about I treat you to shaved noodles at Shangxi Noodle Restaurant? Suyu looked at him quietly, then can I eat one bowl and pack 100 bowls? And, boss, I've lost some of my memory. I don't remember what you said just now. Let's hurry up and buy groceries, hearing that his boss was going to scam him to death, and decided not to treat his boss to a meal and let him show off his culinary skills. When the time came, the kitchen would be in a mess. Next time, he would never enter the kitchen again. Anne's idea was good, but the truth was, Suyu actually magically chose hot pot and seafood. The meat Suyu bought was all fresh steak. Then, he went home and started to boil soup. He used the steak soup as the base of the pot. Then, he bought a lot of beef rolls, crispy meat, various vegetables, sweet potato slices, tofu, and so on. As for seafood, he bought hairy crabs, conches, wild green prawns, and a lot of crayfish. It was already 4 o'clock when he returned home. He thought that Huamin would be here at 6:30. Suyu quickly put on an apron. He started to get busy in the kitchen. "Boss, let me help you." "No, no." After Suyu rejected him, he started to get busy. This was the first time he had to stir-fry crayfish himself. Suyu felt that this was a rare scene. He quickly took out his phone and took a picture of his boss's back. Then, he posted it on his WeChat. "My boss is doing the first big thing in his life, cooking." It was less than a minute after he posted it. Tang Chuan and Wei Liao commented. "Tang Chuan, fuck, am I seeing things? Is that Suyu?" Wei Liao, Lord Su is cooking personally. "What day is it today?" Tang Chuan replied to Wei Liao, "But this guy didn't ask us out. I'm disappointed." Wei Liao replied to Tang Chuan, "Is he keeping a mistress in his house?" Tang Chuan replied to Wei Liao, "Then we have to go take a look and have a meal." Wei Liao replied to Tang Chuan, "Sure. 20 minutes. Let's see who gets there first. The loser will give a red packet of 10,000 yuan." Tang Chuan replied to Wei Liao, 10,000 yuan is too little. I'll bet 100,000 yuan. It should be enough for me to go to the nightclub once. Wei Liao replied to Tang Chuan, "Deal." Shaoan looked at the two men chatting and didn't interrupt. He suddenly realized that he was in trouble. When he posted it on his WeChat moments, he thought it was fun, so he posted it casually. But he forgot that there were two masters in his circle of friends. Great. The boss obviously didn't have an appointment with those two today. It was someone else, and judging from the way the boss smiled at that time, it should be a woman. But if those two were to come, wouldn't the atmosphere be ruined? Thinking of this, Shaoan decided to look for Suyu and apologize. After Shaoan explained the situation to Suyu, Suyu was silent for 5 seconds, then picked up the spoon. Shaoan reached out to block him. "Boss, I was wrong. Can you not use a spoon? Our kitchen utensils are all special. You can break bones if you hit them." Suyu gritted his teeth. "I won't use a spoon. I can't let you off so easily. Wait here, I'll go get the shovel." Shaoan, Suyu took out his phone angrily and called the two guys. However, they didn't pick up. 10 minutes later, Wei Liao arrived first. He had always liked to drive an Audi A8, but this time, he actually drove a sports car, a crystal blue Ferrari supercar. 3 minutes later, Tang Chuan arrived. The moment he entered, he saw Wei Liao's sports car and immediately cursed. "Fuck. Old Wei is playing with me. He doesn't usually drive sports cars." Wei Liao came over and smiled. "Just transfer 100,000 yuan to my WeChat." Suyu came out with a dark expression. "Dads. Please go back first." "What do you mean? Are you chasing us away?" Tang Chuan raised his eyebrows. Chapter 4598. Suyu nodded. "You can think of it that way. Fuck, do you have any humanity?" Tang Chuan glared at him. "Pretend I don't." Tang Chuan, Wei Liao patted Suyu's shoulder with a smile. "Let us stay. We're not here to freeload." "Then why?" Suyu looked at his two dads vigilantly. "We want to see what kind of monster can make you, Lord Su, cook for her." Suyu glared at him. "You're the monster." "Wrong. What I meant was, we want to see what kind of monster can make you cook for her." "No. So stingy. Our friendship is over," Tang Chuan threatened Suyu. "Okay, take care, I won't see you out." Looking at Suyu's cheeky attitude, he knew that he wasn't being sincere. No, I'm hungry. I want to eat. Tang Chuan walked into the kitchen as if he knew Su Yu well. There's so much food, seafood, and hot pot. Su Yu, you're good. Tang Chuan gave him a thumbs up. Speaking of which, I haven't had hot pot in a long time. I'm in luck today. Wei Liao walked over with a smile. Su Yu cleared his throat and said, come here. Boss, what can I do for you? You, take the pot and the cooked food, and move them all upstairs, to the transparent glass room on the top floor. What about Mr. Tang and the others? And froze. I'll order hot pot and seafood for them. And, no, we want to eat what you cook, Tang Chuan said coquettishly. If you want to eat takeout. If you don't, get out. Su Yu was firm. Old Wei, look at this guy who values women over friends. Do you think someone like Zhao Qingya is worth him isolating us downstairs and giving us takeout? Tang Chuan also felt wronged. He didn't realize that Su Yu didn't like Zhao Qingya at all. I'm afraid this isn't Zhao Qingya. Wei Liao had always been smart, so he analyzed directly. While they were struggling, Huamin came to visit. Hearing someone ring the doorbell, Su Yu panicked. Wearing slippers, he quickly ran to the door. Then, he opened the door for her. The moment he opened the door, he even put on an extremely warm and cute wolf dog-like smile. This is for you. Huamin threw a bag of fruits into Su Yu's arms. Look at you. You didn't have to bring gifts. You're so polite. Su Yu said in an adult tone. Huamin didn't say anything. He went straight into the house and changed his shoes before entering the living room. Then, he was slightly surprised. You have friends here. Su Yu was thinking about how to explain. Wei Liao quickly said, we were just passing by, and wanted to find something to eat. If you don't mind, we'll leave now. We won't disturb you. Let's all eat together. I don't mind. Huamin knew that these people must be Su Yu's friends. Otherwise, they wouldn't be at his house. Naturally, he couldn't chase them out. Seeing that Wei Liao's trick worked, Tang Chuan immediately followed suit and walked up to Huamin. Su Yu said that he only made your portions and didn't make any for us. He even said that he was considerate enough to give us takeout. I think we can eat takeout, but I think it'll be lonely if it's just the two of you eating alone. Besides, there's so much food, you can't finish it. Takeout? What takeout? Huamin turned around and looked at Su Yu in surprise. Chapter 45-99. Su Yu touched his neck awkwardly. I was just joking. Ha ha ha, I knew you wouldn't be so cruel to us. Tang Chuan walked over and hugged Su Yu. You little bastard, just you wait. You ruined my plans. Do you believe that I'll castrate you? Su Yu gritted his teeth and whispered into Tang Chuan's ear. I wouldn't dare, I wouldn't dare. But, your taste isn't good recently. She's really average looking. After Tang Chuan said this, Su Yu punched Tang Chuan's shoulder. Slandering Huamin was not allowed. Even if the whole world said that Huamin was average-looking, she was still irreplaceable in Su Yu's heart. Huamin came and bought some fruits for Su Yu. Of course, they weren't imported. It was etiquette to bring some fruits and gifts when visiting a friend's house. No matter how rich Su Yu was, he couldn't forget about etiquette. While Huamin went to the bathroom, Wei Liao walked to Su Yu's side. Lord Su, how long have you known this girl? A long time, about 5 or 6 years. Su Yu blurted out and sighed. After saying that, he realized that he had said something wrong. After all, in this world, Siyu had only just met her. Looking at Wei Liao's incredulous expression, Siyu quickly corrected himself. It was a slip of the tongue. I meant more than 5 or 6 days. When I was hospitalized, she was my full-time nurse. So you flirted with your nurse? What are you talking about? We're in true love. True love. Does she love you? Wei Liao's words pierced old Tai's heart. Before Su Yu could refute, Wei Liao continued, do you know this girl's background? I do, I know everything. Su Yu was full of confidence. Bullshit, she's the illegitimate daughter of the Huo family. She's Huo Xiqian's half-sister. Wei Liao's memory was amazing. He remembered that a long time ago, Wei Liao had even browsed through the tabloid. At that time, Huo Xiqian's photos, and Huo Min's photos were all exposed. Later, it was said that the Huo family spent a lot of money to suppress the news. However, Wei Liao had a photographic memory and recognized her as soon as he saw her. He thought Siyu didn't know. After all, Huo Xiqian's ambiguous character was famous in the circle. Hearing Wei Liao's mysterious words, Siyu burst out laughing. Wei Liao, I know all that. Huo Xiqian and I even talked about her. I heard that her mother is a mistress, Wei Liao said. After all, the report back then directly said that Yang Meirong was involved in Huo Zhenghai and Jiang Hong's marriage. Actually, that wasn't the truth, but outsiders didn't know. They all heard about it from the media. What mistress? Don't talk nonsense. If you slander my mother-in-law, you'll die a horrible death, Siyu warned. Mother-in-law. Oh my God. Do you have to be like this? Wei Liao and Su Yu had known each other for many years and grew up together. It was also the first time he heard the word mother-in-law. Su Yu exploded. Okay, let's not talk about it anymore. I'm going to accompany my baby. You and Duchuan can do whatever you want. Then, Siyu walked towards Huo Min. Huo Min also came out of the bathroom and was interested in Su Yu's backyard. The two of them started chatting. When Wei Liao heard Su Yu say the word baby, he thought he was crazy. Su Yu is so disgusting now. Wei Liao was right to slander him. For the first time, he felt that Su Yu was like a happy husky. Upon closer inspection, he didn't feel that this girl named Huo Min was special in any way. Could it be that someone had cast a spell on her? Chapter 4600. It was rare for Su Yu to see Huo Min in such a good mood. He chatted with him about the flowers and plants in the back garden. It was summer, and Su Yu's private garden was blooming with flowers. But most of them were roses. At first glance, it looked like a rose garden. There were purple lavender plants around the edges. Do you like them? I'll go down and pick them for you. Su Yu realized that Huo Min liked flowers. In fact, all girls liked flowers. No, I just think that roses are born with thorns and can hurt people easily. Also, their flowering period is short. It's not easy for them to survive in the north, unlike the south where it's spring all year round. That makes sense. What do you think I should plant? Su Yu asked humbly. Lavender is good for sleeping, but you don't plant much. I'm afraid it's just a side effect. After Huo Min said this, Su Yu smiled awkwardly. As a man, how could he know how to plant flowers? When he was tidying up the back garden, he just casually sent some gardeners. He told them to just do as they pleased. In the end, the back garden, which was more than 100 square meters, became a mix of dragons and snakes. There were all kinds of flowers, and it was a little dazzling. Okay, Then I'll plant lavender all over, Suyu said. Huamin shook his head. You are so impatient. I'm not done yet. I think you can plant some lavender around and sunflowers in the middle. Suyu slapped his forehead in realization. I understand, Mian, you're amazing. Sunflowers have a very good meaning. It means to always face the sun, right? That's so inspirational. I must plant a lot. I'll change it tomorrow. No, I mean, sunflowers can be eaten. Suyu, ha ha ha, I was joking. You took it seriously. It's a joke in the movie Charlotte's Trouble. Upon hearing the words Charlotte's Trouble, Suyu's mood instantly soared. The theme song in the movie was Just Once. It was the song that Suyu sang for Huamin during the anniversary celebration. When he found out that Huamin and Qin Chu had gotten married, he was filled with despair. How he wished he had a chance to take care of Mian. However, he also knew that it was impossible. With Huamin's character, he would definitely love someone until the end. At that time, he felt that he had no chance. Even if Qin Chu died, Huamin would not marry him. Now that he had transmigrated to a parallel world, he finally saw hope. Deep in love, she took advantage of the fact that the breeze outside was just right and the sun was warm. Suyu sang the song, Just Once, in Huamin's ear again. Huamin was a little shocked. She felt that it was very familiar, and then she felt that Suyu's singing was very good and his voice was very sexy. Then, she held her face with both hands and looked at the flowers outside while listening to Suyu sing. Wei Liao secretly picked up his phone and took a picture of this scene. Wei Liao was a good photographer, so he took a beautiful picture of Suyu and Huamin with the help of the colorful light. What's going on, old Wei? Why are they singing? Tang Chuan nagged softly, how would I know? Maybe they hit it off at first sight. Wei Liao smiled. Boss, Miss Hua, it's time to eat, after Suyu was done, and cleaned up the mess. He washed the cutlery and brought it to the table. The food in the hot pot was ready to be eaten. The seafood had just come out of the pot and was still steaming hot. Coupled with Suyu's luxurious European style, it was really domineering. Suyu pulled out a chair for Huamin like a gentleman. Mian, sit here. I don't think that's a good idea. This is the master's seat. Huamin felt that the seat was too obvious and inappropriate. It's okay, Miss Hua. You'll be the mistress of this place in the future anyway, and said casually. Then, the air in the entire room fell silent. Chapter 4601. Huamin was also extremely embarrassed. Wei Liao and Tang Chuan both looked at Huamin in shock. And rarely gossiped. If even he said so, it seemed like this matter wasn't simple. Suyu coughed lightly and quickly explained, don't listen to his nonsense. What I mean is, if you sit here, you'll have good lighting and plenty of sunlight. Most importantly, you're close to the crabs, so you can eat more. Huamin also felt that it wouldn't be good if he continued to be shy, so he slowly sat down. Miss Hua, right? I want to sit next to you. Tang Chuan ran over and wanted to sit next to Huamin. Suyu glared at him. Go sit next to old Wei. Tang Chuan immediately left dejectedly. In the end, and sat next to Suyu, and Suyu sat next to Huamin. There were 2 empty seats in the middle of Huamin, followed by Wei Liao. Next to Wei Liao was Tang Chuan, and next to Tang Chuan was An. Yes, just like that, the table was settled. Suyu took the initiative to pick up a crab and gave it to Huamin. Eat it while it's hot. It's still fresh. I'll do it myself. Thank you. After all, there were so many people, so Huamin still couldn't let go. Miss Hua, what's your profession? Tang Chuan asked with a big mouth. Nurse. Nurse is good. The uniform is tempting. Tang Chuan smiled. Su Yu glared at him, and Tang Chuan immediately lowered his head and continued eating. Huamin looked at Su Yu's gaze and couldn't help but laugh. What are you laughing at? Su Yu asked Huamin in confusion. Nothing. Let's eat. During the meal, Su Yu glanced at an after you finish eating, tell the gardeners to uproot the roses and other flowers today. Boss, what crime did those flowers commit? And thought they were quite beautiful. What did the flowers do wrong? They committed the crime of my future wife not liking them, Su Yu said matter-of-factly. Huamin and Wei Liao, Tang Chuan, ignoring the confused looks on everyone's faces, Su Yu continued, plant more lavender around the perimeter and plant sunflowers in the center. Yes. And knew his boss's stubbornness. If he had made up his mind on something, even 10 oxen couldn't pull him back. It seemed that he had made up his mind. When did you have such good taste? Good. I was just about to say, your backyard is like a hodgepodge. It's a mess, too messy. There are all kinds of flowers, it's really not pretty, Tang Chuan interrupted. I've always had such good taste. I just didn't have the mood to take care of it in the past. Su Yu raised his head proudly. Then, may I ask why you're in the mood to take care of it now? Wei Liao asked him deliberately. Su Yu looked at Huamin and said, because my leg is better and I'm in a good mood. After hearing Su Yu's words, everyone laughed and didn't expose him. However, Huamin couldn't bear it. Su Yu, these flowers of yours have been growing for a long time. Let's leave them like this for this year. We'll change them when the flowers wither in winter. Otherwise, it would be a pity to uproot them during the blooming season. That's good too. Huamin's casual words made Su Yu change his mind. Oh my god. This was unprecedented. Wei Liao and Tang Chuan looked at each other, their hearts full of drama. And was stunned with a fish ball in his mouth. He didn't eat it, but he didn't spit it out either. And, did you hear what Miss Hua said? Su Yu asked him. And nodded with a fish ball in his mouth. Huamin felt even more embarrassed when he saw the strange atmosphere. Therefore, he lowered his head and kept eating without saying a word. However, it didn't seem right to keep eating. This was because Tang Chuan suddenly looked at Huamin and said, Miss Hua, you have a big appetite. Huamian's face immediately turned red, feeling that she was too embarrassing. Su Yu, on the other hand, immediately defended Huamin. What's wrong with eating a lot? Did she eat your rice? Chapter 4602. Upon hearing Su Yu's words, Wei Liao quickly patted young Master Tang's back. Alright, eat your food. Mind your own business. Huamin ate very quickly and was soon full. Tang Chuan, Wei Liao, and Su Yu occasionally talked about things in the industry. She couldn't get a word in edgewise. She looked at her watch and realized that it was getting late. Huamin stood up. Su Yu, I'm going back first. Su Yu didn't want to stay any longer. After all, he didn't want Huamin to think that he had ulterior motives. Su Yu, on the other hand, started to act coquettishly. Big Magnesium, take a look at my wound. That's more important. Huamin crossed his arms and looked at Su Yu's leg. He smiled and said, I don't think there's a need to look at it. I think you're almost like a normal person. You can walk and run. After a week, you can even jump. I've already seen your scans at the hospital. It's just a ligament strain. Don't be so nervous. Just rest well, it was really awkward to have a white lie exposed. That was true. Huamin was so smart. How could he not see through this? Seeing that he couldn't make him stay, Suyu quickly stood up and picked up his jacket. Boss, let me send Miss Hua off. You haven't eaten much. And felt sorry for his boss and stood up foolishly. Calm down and sit down. It's none of your business. Your boss is already restless. Tang Chuan smiled. Suyu glared at Tang Chuan, picked up his jacket, and followed Huamin out. He even said, the three of you, remember to wash the dishes after eating. Tang Chuan, Wei Liao, and, after Suyu left, the atmosphere became much more relaxed. Wei Liao picked up a piece of beef and said in puzzlement, why do I feel like there's something wrong with this kid recently? Yes. I also feel that it's a little different from before, Tang Chuan quickly said. And froze, do you mean, my boss, is a fake? Shaowen, on the other hand, was not skilled enough to understand the hidden meaning in these noble young master's words. Wei Liao shook his head. No. That's not what I meant. I just feel that his personality has become much more docile. I agree. After the car accident, Boss has become much more docile. She's not as hot-tempered as before. And nodded like a chick pecking at rice. Wei Liao's words were exactly what he wanted to hear. Then do you think, it's like in many novels, that this Lord Su is no longer our Lord Su? He's a bastard who transmigrated from ancient times or some other dynasty. Why don't we beat him up when he comes back? Tang Chuan suddenly had an idea. And Wei Liao looked at him in unison and said in unison, go ahead and beat him up. You'll bear the consequences. Tang Chuan, all right, stop talking nonsense. It's impossible for him to have transmigrated. I would recognize this guy's aura even if he turned into ashes. We grew up with him, so how could we not know him? Lord Su is definitely still Lord Su. It's just that although his personality is roughly the same as before, his temper has matured a lot. This feeling is like I'm looking at Lord Su in his 30s. Although his face hasn't changed, his mind has matured a lot. Wei Liao's description was spot on. In essence, Suyu had indeed transmigrated from his 30s. Therefore, although he had a young body, his mind was that of a 30-year-old Suyu. However, no one would have thought of such a mysterious thing. Chapter 4603. After listening to Wei Liao's words, Tang Chuan nodded in agreement. Yeah, you don't say. Old Wei, your analysis is quite reasonable. Could it be that after this car accident, Lord Su saw through life and death and his personality changed drastically? That's possible. When people are on the verge of life and death, they can understand a lot. In order not to be ostentatious and not show off, Suyu deliberately chose a very low-key black Audi A6. He originally planned to use it for the company, but the company later bought another brand. This old A6 was still unused. Suyu often drove a black Lamborghini Sixth Element. After that, he drove a Ferrari, followed by a Porsche. He rarely used other cars. But now, there were 7 or 8 cars parked in Suyu's super garage. So, in consideration of Huamin's feelings, it was better to drive this Audi. After all, Huamin lived in the old city area, and the residents there went to bed early. If he drove a supercar there, the noise would be very disturbing. Get in the car, it's cold. Huamin naturally opened the door to the front passenger seat and sat in it. He did not sit in the back seat like a stranger, which made Suyu very happy. So low-key today. After seeing Suyu choose this car, Huamin was slightly surprised. Yeah, it's so late. Your neighbors are probably all asleep. I don't want to disturb them. Huamin smiled slightly. At least you have a conscience. Suyu looked wronged. I've always had a conscience, okay? Huamin smiled but did not say anything. Suyu slowly drove away from the villa area and headed in the direction of Huamin's home. On the way, to ease the awkward atmosphere, Suyu turned on the music and played a very soothing light music. Hey, Bandrai, you have good taste. Huamin also liked to listen to this band's light music, so he was surprised that a violent person like Suyu would like that kind of light music. My taste has always been good. After Suyu said that, he smiled and looked at Huamin. Huamin suddenly realized that Suyu looked a little childish when he smiled. He was so naive. It felt like pinching his face. You're looking at me so seriously. Are you in love with me? Suyu deliberately asked him. Yeah, I love you. Huamin. Then, if you propose to me, I'm in a good mood, I might say yes. I don't want you to be with me. I have no house, no car, and no car. I can't have you like this. It's hard for you. Suyu's hands on the steering wheel were a little excited. It's okay, I have everything. You can live at my house. How can I do that? If our finances aren't balanced, there will be a lot of family conflicts in the future. Your family won't like a commoner like me. It's okay, as long as I like you, Suyu jokingly confessed to Huamin. Huamin was a little embarrassed. He turned his head and looked out the window. That won't do. I don't like rich people. I'm not rich, I'm super rich, I don't like super rich either. Huamin pursed his lips and smiled. Then you can try. I'll give you a free trial for 3 months. If you're satisfied, you can order more. What do you think? There's no free lunch in this world. Cheap things aren't good, and good things aren't cheap, so you didn't know whether to laugh or cry. So, are you saying that I'm cheap, or that I'm not good? What do you think? Huamin couldn't stop laughing. Time passed quickly as the two of them chatted. In the blink of an eye, they arrived near Huamin's house. Suddenly, Suyu saw a man standing in front of her house. Huamin was also a little surprised. He narrowed his eyes and looked at the figure. Chapter 4604. After Huamin saw who it was, he pushed open the car door and got out of the car emotionally. Suyu wasn't in a hurry to get out of the car. After all, it was someone else's private matter. He calmly observed. Huamin walked over emotionally. Suyu rolled down the car window and could clearly hear their conversation. Mian, you're back. Ning Ziyuan glanced at Huamin's black Audi with a complicated expression. What are you doing here? Huamin glared at him coldly. Suyu looked at the man carefully through the light. He and Ning Ziyuan had barely seen each other. When Huamin and Ning Ziyuan were fighting, Suyu hadn't appeared yet. Qin Chu had taken care of everything. However, Qin Chu didn't exist in this world, so Suyu suddenly felt a little excited. It seemed like his chance had come. He had to perform well in front of Mian and get bonus points. Mian. I think I should apologize to you. No matter how much Ning Ziyuan pretended to be depressed, he couldn't win Huamin's sympathy. What he did was something Huamin, who was obsessed with cleanliness, couldn't tolerate. Huamin sneered. Apologize? What's there to apologize for? It's so funny. Are you drunk? I'm not drunk, Mian, I'm serious. Are you apologizing for cheating? No, we're not married, you can call it cheating. Yes, are you apologizing for cheating? Or are you apologizing for embezzling tens of thousands of yuan from my savings? Or is there another reason? Mian, how about this, pay back the money first. Give me my 60,000 yuan, and we'll talk about the rest later. Huamin was really angry. She hadn't worked for long after graduation. Where did she get so much savings? It wasn't even part of her mother's money. Her brother was still in school, and life was hard enough. When she first met Ning Ziyuan's family, she felt that they were a simple family. Their family was not as well off as Huamin's family. They lived in a remote village and could only rely on some cornfields and some mountain products to sell for money. Therefore, Ning Ziyuan's family only managed to scrape together 50,000 yuan. It was said that 15,000 yuan was borrowed from his aunt. Therefore, Beauty Yang felt sorry for her daughter and took out her savings. Just like that, the two families pooled together a down payment. In the end, when it was time to confirm the purchase of the house, the incident between Ning Ziyuan and Nurse He-Man was exposed. Most importantly, He-Man was pregnant, so she had no choice but to get married. Huamin would be lying if he said he wasn't sad. He didn't have any feelings for Ning Ziyuan. However, he felt that he had been blind all those years. The feeling of not being able to judge people and hating himself was hard for others to understand. The two of them, who had not seen each other for a long time, met again here. Huamin was very excited. If it weren't for his manners, he would have cursed this scumbag to death. Su Yu heard clearly that Huamin seemed to be asking Ning Ziyuan for a sum of money that belonged to him. Mian, I don't have that much money on hand right now. I already used it to buy a house when I got married. Wow, using my hard-earned money to buy a house for your wife. You're a Marvel hero. Even Captain America's character isn't as good as yours. You love your wife. I applaud you. Huamin raised his hand and clapped, making Ning Ziyuan even more embarrassed. Mian, I know I owe you. Don't worry, I will definitely pay you back, now. Huamin stretched out his hand. Now I don't have it. Ning Ziyuan smiled awkwardly. If you don't have money, why are you looking for me? Huamin was not only cold, but he also cursed. Not far away, Su Yu couldn't help but laugh out loud when he heard Huamin curse. This caused Ning Ziyuan to look over. Chapter 4605. Huamin also glanced at Su Yu. Su Yu realized that he had crossed the line and immediately shut up. Huamin looked at Ning Ziyuan. Get lost, don't stand in my way. When you have enough money, send it to me. Since we know each other, I'll charge you 30% interest. If you drag it out for 10 years, I'll be rich, 30%. Are you a loan shark? Ning Ziyuan looked aggrieved. Huamin smiled. You're thinking too much. Loan sharks are 50%. They won't be as kind as me. Mian, I came here today to tell you that. I want to make up with you. Ha. Say that again. I want to make up with you. Ha. Say that again. I want to make up with you. The signal is bad. Say that again. Huamin deliberately leaned over to listen. Ning Ziyuan, he finally realized that he had been fooled by Huamin. Su Yu wanted to laugh again, but he didn't dare to this time, afraid that Huamin would be angry. Mian. I'm serious too. Why don't you go back first and let me rest? I'm not in the mood to talk to you today. After speaking, Huamin was about to walk into the courtyard. Mian, I want to divorce He-Man. Ning Ziyuan finally said this like a man. Huamin stopped and turned around to look at him. What does your divorce have to do with me? I want to end everything with He-Man and start over with you. Ning Ziyuan, look up at the sky. After Huamin said this, Ning Ziyuan obediently raised his head and looked at the sky. There was no moon tonight, and the sky was pitch black. Do you see a spaceship? It's round, and it's so big. Spaceship? Where? Ning Ziyuan froze and continued to look. You believe everything others say. So, a fool like you isn't suitable for me. I'm afraid that your children will be retarded. Ning Ziyuan, don't joke around. If you want to start over with me, you won't even be able to get in line in your next life. It's none of your business. Get back to where you came from, don't affect my mood. Mian, are you so against me because you found a new lover? Ning Ziyuan anxiously pointed at the Audi and roared. What does it have to do with you whether I have a new lover or not? Huamian said matter-of-factly. When you're in school, you're a woman who doesn't know how to suck up to others. Now, aren't you a vulgar woman now? You agree just because I have an Audi. You're really worthless. If I buy a BMW, would you be willing to sleep with me? Ning Ziyuan was probably angered by Huamin, so his words were extremely vicious. Su Yu was anxious when he heard this and opened the car door in exasperation. Before he could get angry, Huamin held his bag and threw it at Ning Ziyuan's head. He didn't forget to kick him as he did so. From the looks of it, he didn't show any mercy. Ning Ziyuan was probably hurt from the hit, so he raised his arm to retaliate. His hand reached for Huamin's collar. In the blink of an eye, Su Yu dashed forward. He picked up Ning Ziyuan from behind and lifted his feet off the ground. Who the fuck are you? Ning Ziyuan turned his head. Before he could finish speaking, he was punched in the face. Ah! He screamed in pain from the beating. Huamin was also stunned. When did Su Yu rush up? It seemed to be quite timely. Before Ning Ziyuan could react, Su Yu picked him up with one hand and punched and kicked him. It was obvious that Su Yu was beating the scumbag one-sidedly. The scumbag didn't have the strength to fight back. After all, Su Yu's punch was too heavy. Chapter 4606. Who the fuck are you? Do you believe that I'll call the police and arrest you? Su Yu took out his phone from his pocket and threw it at him. Come on, call me now. Hurry up. Ning Ziyuan picked up his phone with trembling hands. He looked at Huamin while looking at this man. Huamin couldn't bear to see Su Yu hit Ning Ziyuan. She didn't care how badly Ning Ziyuan was beaten up. However, Su Yu's fist was broken. Your hand is injured, it's nothing. Su Yu smiled. At this moment, Ning Ziyuan looked particularly funny. Hello, is this the police? I'm the victim. Someone hit me here. Yes, the perpetrator is still here. Come over, I'm at. Ning Ziyuan successfully revealed the address of Huamin's house. The nearby police station arrived in less than 5 minutes. They were also very efficient. The sound of the police car immediately alerted many neighbors and they came out to watch. Su Yu pushed Huamin hard. He pushed her into the courtyard. At this moment, Huamin's mother and brother came out to see what was going on. Sis, you're back, Jixin asked. Emichim, what's going on outside? Why are there police cars? 2 drunk people got into a fight. Ha! Are you okay? Did it affect you? Jixin quickly walked up to see if his sister was okay. I'm fine, I was just passing by. It's nothing to do with me. You two are fine too. Don't go out to see what's going on. Let's go back. Huamin put his arm around Jixin's shoulder and walked inside. Your sister is right. Let's go inside. What's there to see? I'll lock the door now. Yang Meirong quickly locked the door of the courtyard from inside. After all, a woman with a pair of children living in such a bungalow area was afraid of causing trouble. Su Yu pushed Huamin away in time, so Huamin stayed out of it. When the police arrived, they were still very arrogant. However, when he saw Su Yu, he immediately cowered. The leader politely said to Su Yu, "Young Master Su, why are you here?" Su Yu's appearance was known to all the police officers in the city. It was the same for the traffic team. They were afraid that they would accidentally offend this ancestor. His career as a police officer would come to an end. Not to mention small policemen like them, even the big leaders of the city bureau had to be polite to them. Su Yu's father and grandfather were not just big shots in Sea City. The Su family had been an aristocratic family for decades. They were deeply rooted here, and their connections extended in all directions. It was true that they were in a high position, but it was also true that they never bullied the common people. So, over the years, Su had been involved in scandals of fighting with others. At most, there were rumors about him and a female celebrity. Young Master Su. Ning Ziyuan was still dumbfounded. What young Master Su? Why did even the police officers in the local police station know this guy? What was this guy's background? Su Yu lit a cigarette impatiently. Then, he glanced at the police officer and said, "Take us back to the police station first. Don't disturb the people here. The neighbors here need to sleep too." After saying that, Su Yu didn't forget to look at Huamin's door. Young Master Su is right. We'll leave immediately. But young Master Su, you don't have to go back with us. You can drive away directly, the captain said. Police, he can't leave. He's a pervert who beat me up. You can't let him go. Ning Ziyuan insisted on not letting Su Yu go. You shut up. The captain turned around and scolded the nameless junior who had a terrified look on his face. Su Yu shook his head. I can't leave. I have to go back to the police station with you to make a statement. No need, no need. I wouldn't dare to trouble you. The captain was scared out of his wits. I have to go with you because I still have a score to settle with this bastard. How about this, Captain, you go back first. I'll drive after you. I'll see you in the station later. Chapter 4607. In the end, the police officers at the police station listened to Su Yu's suggestion. They used the police to bring Ning Ziyuan back. Su Yu, on the other hand, drove to the police station. When they arrived at the police station, Ning Ziyuan was locked up in a small room without a word. Su Yu sat in the captain's seat and someone even poured tea for him. What a double treatment. Young Master Su, take your time, we'll listen. There's no rush, have some tea first. The captain looked at Su Yu politely and smiled. Su Yu glanced at the teacup indifferently. As for the tea, I won't drink it. It's late and I won't be able to sleep. Yes, yes, yes. I wasn't considerate enough. I'll get you a glass of water. No need, I'm not thirsty either. I'll just say a few words. I didn't know this scumbag before. I was on my way home when I saw him waiting at my friend's door with a wretched expression. He harassed my friend and even wanted to use force on her. I only intervened because I wanted to protect my friend. That's the gist of it. If you don't believe me, you can investigate and check the surveillance cameras nearby. No, young Master Su is a man of his words. There's no need to lie about his identity and status. We'll definitely deal with it seriously. There's one more thing. I heard that he still owes my good friend 60,000 yuan. I think, Suyu wanted to say something but stopped himself. However, the captain was smart and immediately understood what Suyu meant. Leave this to us. It's late. Young Master Su, you should go back and rest. Okay. Suyu nodded, got up, and walked to the door. He turned back and said, I don't want to see this person at my friend's door or at work in the future. Young Master Su, don't worry. We know what to do. Suyu nodded and drove away with a smile. As soon as Suyu left, the police captain immediately interrogated Ning Ziyuan. It was true that he waited at Huamin's door and harassed Huamin. It was also true that he owed Huamin 60,000 yuan. None of this was made up by Suyu. During the interrogation, Ning Ziyuan kept saying that Huamin was his ex-girlfriend and that the two of them had dated before. There was no such thing as harassment. But the police didn't care. When the captain heard Suyu talking to him, every time he described this woman, he would use the word good friend. Moreover, he had used it 3 times. One could imagine how important this woman was to Suyu. Therefore, they did not listen to Ning Ziyuan at all. He didn't use words to extort a confession, nor did he use violence. He just locked him up like that. Before the captain left, he said, our brothers are all off work. If this guy doesn't pay us back, we'll let him go 24 hours later. Then, we'll catch him in a few days. Upon hearing this, Ning Ziyuan immediately cowered. With trembling hands, he called He-Man. He-Man drove to pick him up in the middle of the night.
She was so angry that the couple even quarreled at the police station. But in the end, He-Man left 60,000 yuan in cash. Later, the captain contacted Suyu and wanted to give the money to Suyu. Suyu said that he could call his good friend directly. 10:30 p.m. When Suyu returned, Tang Chuan and Wei Liao had already left. Only An was still watching TV on the sofa. Boss, you're back. Yes. Are you hungry? I'll make you something to eat. I'm not hungry. You should go to bed early. I'm going to sleep after taking a shower. Suyu seemed to be in a good mood. Sure enough, Suyu received a message on WeChat not long after. It was a video call from Huamin. Suyu picked it up happily. Miss Hua, please speak. Don't talk nonsense with me. Suyu, what happened after that? I got into a fight for you and was brought to the police station by the police. Suyu said calmly. What? You were brought to the police station. Which police station are you at now? I'll bail you out. Huamin knew that Suyu was implicated because of him.
Chapter 4608. No need. I'm already out. I've already driven home. Are you okay? Huamin was still a little uneasy. After all, Suyu was indeed implicated because of her. The problem was that she didn't expect Ning Ziyuan to come to her and say things like reconciling. After all, ever since Ning Ziyuan betrayed her, the two of them hadn't seen each other. Now that Ning Ziyuan had a family conflict with the pregnant He-Man and was in a bad mood, he went to harass Huamin. He was really the scumbag of scumbags. I'm scared. I'm just scared. Why don't you comfort me? Huamin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Stop fooling around. What time is it? Suyu giggled for a while. Then, she lay on her big bed in her pure white pajamas. Then, she could chat and tease Huamin face to face. It felt good. Suyu felt that after coming to this world, she seemed to have become more cheerful. She could do whatever she wanted, and she was filled with happiness everywhere. Suyu. Yeah. Thank you, for today, Huamin said. You're just thanking me with your mouth. Su, you've deliberately made things difficult for her. Then I'll give you a red packet later. Hua Min probed. Do you think you're richer than me? Su Yu continued to make things difficult for him. Then I'll treat you to a meal. Hua Min controlled her temper. Many people want to treat me to a meal. You'll have to wait in line for half a year. Su Yu, don't go too far. Hua Min could tell that Su Yu was deliberately teasing her, so her face darkened. Look, now you're showing your true colors. You're so fierce when Ning Ziyuan harassed you. I'm your savior, but you're scolding me instead. What kind of logic is that? Ha! Miss Hua, tell me, where did you learn this from? Did your PE teacher teach you that? Hua Min laughed again. Tell me, what do you want? How about giving yourself to me? Su Yu asked with a smile. You wish. Hua Min also rejected him very straightforwardly. Ha, I knew you would say that. Okay, I'll let you go this time. I heard that there's an old street near your alma mater. There's a famous ramen restaurant there, can you treat me to that one day? How did you know? Hua Min was stunned. I looked it up on the reviews, haha, they said it's delicious and cheap. Yes, 2 yuan for a bowl of ramen. The boss has been making it for more than 10 years. It's really not easy. Actually, the noodles aren't that delicious. It's just that our classmates miss the taste of the past. I don't care. I just want to eat. Okay. My treat. At this moment, the video on Hua Min's side was suddenly cut off. Hello. Su Yu said hello, but there was no response. He guessed that Hua Min's phone probably ran out of battery or was cut off by an incoming call. Sure enough, 5 minutes later, Hua Min sent Su Yu another video call. Ha! What's up? I'm about to fall asleep. Su Yu pretended to be sleepy. Stop pretending. Did you tell the police that Ning Ziyuan owes me money? Ah. I just casually mentioned it. It's only right to repay a debt, Su Yu said nonchalantly. Just now, the captain drove directly to my house and gave me the cash. Oh my god. I never dreamed that I would be able to get the money back. Hua Min was a little excited. 60,000 yuan was nothing to Su Yu. However, to Hua Min's family, this was his mother's hard-earned money and his own salary. She remembered that there was a time when Hua Min scrimped and saved to save this money. No matter how hot the summer was, she couldn't bear to eat ice cream. In the end, she received Ning Ziyuan's shameless betrayal. Now that she got the money back, she suddenly felt that the world had become a better place. Chapter 4609. That's a good thing. I have to congratulate you. Emichim, it's too late tonight. I'll quickly deposit it for my mom tomorrow. Emichim, now that you're appeased, Ning Ziyuan probably won't dare to look for you in the future. Hua Min was smart. From Su Yu's words, she could tell that he must have said something. A person like Su Yu would naturally be treated well by the local police station. Therefore, she really didn't have to worry about this. But this time, she owed Su Yu such a big favor. Would she be able to pay him back with a bowl of 2 yuan noodles? Hua Min lowered her head and thought about these questions. Su Yu looked at her in the video seriously. Her eyelashes were very long. Especially when she looked down, they were especially beautiful. Su Yu. Hua Min suddenly raised her head. Su Yu was so scared that he quickly looked away, afraid that Hua Min would notice. Emichim. 2 yuan for a bowl of noodles is too shabby. I'll treat you to something better. But I don't have much money on me right now. When I get my salary at the end of the month, I'll treat you to a meal on the same day. My monthly salary is 4,000 yuan. I'll treat you to a meal with 4,000 yuan. What about you? Don't you have to live for the next month? Suyu really wanted to scold this silly woman. I'm simple. I have an insulated lunchbox. I can bring food home. Huamin smiled brightly. It was as if this wasn't a bad thing, but Suyu's heart ached. Why did such a good person like her have to live such a poor life? Hearing her say this made his heart ache. That won't do. I'm not such a heartless person. Let's eat ramen. If one bowl isn't enough, I can eat 2 bowls. Also, I can add 10 yuan of beef and a bottle of soda. After hearing Suyu's words, Huamin smiled happily. Suyu still didn't want her to spend money, so this man was actually kind. It seemed that the rumors outside were not true enough. The person who said that Suyu had an explosive temper and bullied the common people was probably blind, right? At the very least, everyone knew that Suyu had a bad temper when he was hospitalized. However, he had never bullied the commoners even once. He reckoned that some of his competitors had hired someone to write an advertorials against him. Alright, it's settled then. Mian, I want to eat tomorrow. Tomorrow, are you free? I have one after work. It can be after 4 or 5 o'clock. Ah, that's great. I'm also on the day shift, so I'll get off work at 5 o'clock. Let's meet directly at Second High. Suyu wanted to say that he would pick her up at South Side, but he was afraid that it would affect Huamin's reputation. So he nodded. Okay, see you tomorrow. After hanging up the video call, Suyu was still very happy. Then, he began to hum a little tune. After lying down for a while, he felt that he couldn't fall asleep. She immediately got up and opened her oversized cloakroom. Let's see what I should wear tomorrow. He looked left and right, but he was still not satisfied. Therefore, Suyu decided to pick a few clothes and try them on. And, who was downstairs, could not help but be worried when he heard the clanging sounds upstairs. Could it be that someone kidnapped my boss? And hurried upstairs and pushed open Suyu's door. Suyu almost peed his pants. Fuck. Don't you know how to knock first? Little brat. Boss. I heard something wrong. I thought something happened to you, and stammered. At this moment, Suyu was wearing a pair of boxers and was about to try on a pair of jeans. However, just as he was about to put them on, and came in, this timing was really hard to explain. Boss. Why don't I help you carry them up? And saw that his boss was struggling to put on his pants, so he thought that his leg injury had not healed. Chapter 46:10. Fuck. Get out of here. You've seen everything. There's no privacy at all. And, on the other side, at Huamin's house. Huamin looked at the 60,000 yuan that Suyu had gotten back for her and how he had helped her in time tonight. She suddenly felt that Suyu was actually quite a nice person. She turned on her phone, clicked on Suyu's profile picture, and went straight to his WeChat moments. Suyu usually had a bad mouth and would say anything. However, that was only with Huamin. He basically did not interact with other women. He was not so free that he would chat with women every day. But of course, Huamin was an exception. Suyu's WeChat moments were actually very clean. There was no chicken soup for the soul. There was no such thing as not reposting or not being Chinese. There were also no national affairs or hot news that aroused public anger. He would not post videos to show off when he was gathering with his buddies, nor would he show off his watches, luxury cars, and mansions when he was shopping. After all, those were all done by bumpkins. Psychologists had analyzed them. The more people lacked something, the more they would show off. Therefore, those who desperately flaunted their wealth had a twisted personality. To Su Yu, the name Su Yu was already a luxury among luxury goods. There was no need to show off at all. He would just eat rice noodle rolls by the roadside. That would definitely cause quite a commotion. Huamin briefly browsed through Su Yu's WeChat moments over the past few years. She found that there were only a few pieces of news about Imperial Star. It seemed that Su Yu was not a chatterbox, nor was he a man who often sighed. With that thought, she subconsciously added another point to Su Yu. She remembered that she still had an appointment tomorrow to eat noodles together. Huamin quickly turned on her phone to check the weather tomorrow. Fortunately, it was sunny and there was no rain. Huamin only fell asleep after an hour of tossing and turning. The next morning, Su Yu had nothing to do in the morning, so he drove straight back to the Su family's old residence. Initially, she had bought some of her mother's favorite snacks and planned to send them over to visit her. Unexpectedly, he was caught red-handed by his grandfather. Su Yu woke up early and didn't have breakfast. He planned to come to the old mansion for a free meal. Therefore, it was only 7:30 p.m. when they reached home. Old Master Su, on the other hand, was wearing a white Chinese undershirt with half sleeves. He was watering the flowers in the garden in front of him, humming an opera while watering the flowers. He seemed to be in a good mood. This was the first time Su Yu had met the old man after transmigrating to the parallel world. He was actually a little excited. He looked at it for a while, then opened his mouth and shouted, "Grandpa." When old Master Su heard the sound, he turned his head and smiled lovingly. "Brat, you're back." Su Yu couldn't control the excitement in his heart. He quickly walked over and hugged the old man. "Grandpa, I miss you very much." "What's wrong today? Don't you always call me old man? Why are you being so obedient today? Did you get into trouble outside? Can't settle it? Or do you need Grandpa's help?" The old man deliberately teased his grandson. He knew that Su Yu wasn't the kind of person who liked to cause trouble. Su Yu's eyes were a little red. He refused to let go. "I just haven't seen Grandpa in a long time. I miss you very much." "Nonsense, I only came back last month. I went to the hospital the night of your car accident. After knowing that you were fine, I immediately returned to the capital to continue the meeting. Wasn't I delirious at that time? Now that I've been discharged and have recovered. Naturally, I feel that I haven't seen Grandpa in a long time. Little brat, at least you have a conscience." The old man was obviously very happy. Chapter 46:11. "Grandpa, I haven't eaten yet. It's rare for you to wake up so early and come back to see us." "Xiuyun." Grandpa called out the cook's name. "Grandpa, what can I do for you? You hasn't had breakfast yet. Make it for him." "Yes, Grandpa." The cook smiled at Su Yu. "Young Master Yu, what would you like to eat?" Do you have dumplings?" Yes, they'll be ready soon." "What kind of dumpling filling do you like?" Before Su Yu could speak, Grandpa said for him, "Beef and radish." "Oh, Grandpa, you guessed right. Didn't you eat the most filling in this dumpling? How could you hide it from me?" Grandpa put down the spray bottle in his hand and sat on the rattan chair beside him. "Grandpa, are you still busy in Jing City?" Su Yu sat beside Grandpa and massaged his legs. "It's all right. Although it's not a big deal, there are a lot of small things." Su Yu nodded. "Okay, Grandpa, you're already in good health. Don't keep busy. You have to take care of your health. When it's time to retire, retire. We have plenty of money to support you. What nonsense are you talking about? Grandpa, you're doing this for money. This salary isn't much. It's not even enough for your clothes. It's just that I feel that I can still do something and serve the country. It's good. Grandpa's voice was loud and clear. It was obvious that he was an old revolutionary soldier. No matter what, he cared about the country. Little brat, how's your leg? Grandpa Lord Su looked at Su Yu's leg with heartache. It's completely healed. It's fine. If I find out that you're speeding again, I'll break your legs, Grandpa deliberately said with a straight face. I understand, I understand. Su Yu smiled cheekily. Your dad seems to be quite busy recently. Didn't you call him to ask? Su Yu touched the back of his head, a little embarrassed. You two are big men, what's there to talk about? Don't you know my personality? You're even more stubborn than me. I heard from Mom that he's been in Southeast Asia recently. You two are really carved from the same mold. Both of you are as smelly and hard as the rocks in the latrine. Master Lord Su said. Su Yu laughed. Then you're right. I'm better than my dad in one aspect. What is it? The old man asked him seriously. I'm more handsome than my dad. Su Yu's smug words made Lord Su laugh. Young master, the dumplings are ready. All right, I'll be right there. Su Yu held his grandfather's arm. Old man, come in and eat with me. I can't. At my age, if I eat too much, it won't be easy for me to digest. You can go. The old man waved his hand. Okay, then I'll go in. Yes. Su Yu had just taken a few steps when he suddenly thought of something. He turned his head and asked Lord Su. Master. I want to get married. Master Lord Su, what? Say that again. Master Lord Su thought he was hallucinating. Master, I like a girl. She's not from the entertainment industry, but from an ordinary family. She's very nice. I must marry her and give birth to a few great-grandchildren for you. Don't tell me you're teasing me by making fun of my old man. Master Lord Su obviously didn't believe Su Yu's words. Master, it's true this time. It's not a joke. You know, all these years, I've never discussed private matters with you. This is the first time I've spoken to you. After hearing this, Grandpa Su felt that it made sense. Does your mother know? No one else knows. I got your approval first. Otherwise, how would I dare to get married? Su Yu smiled. Actually, he already knew that his grandfather loved him so much that he would never interfere with him. What does that girl think? Is she willing to marry into our Su family? Master Lord Su asked wittily. Su Yu felt a little guilty. Well, I'm trying to persuade her, but I believe it won't be a problem. Master Lord Su was speechless. Chapter 46:12. Get the girl first before you tell me. I feel embarrassed for you. With that, Lord Su walked into the depths of the garden with his hands behind his back. Su Yu went into his room to eat breakfast dejectedly. Perhaps it was because he knew that he had an appointment today. He was in a particularly good mood when he returned to the company for a meeting. Everyone in the company could tell that President Su was in a good mood today. President Su, you need to sign this document. Seeing that President Su was in a good mood, the finance director finally dared to take out the document that Su Yu had been upset about. Suyu flipped through the document. The finance director was so scared that he didn't even dare to breathe loudly, afraid that he would be scolded. Unexpectedly, Suyu only glanced at the finance director indifferently. You sure know how to pick the right time. The finance director smiled awkwardly. Without another word, Suyu picked up the pen and signed it. It was extremely smooth. The finance director took off with the document. He wanted to run and shout at the same time. Everyone, come quickly. President Su is in a good mood today. In the office. Boss, yes. I want to take 2 days off. Even you're bullying me, right? Suyu looked at him. No, I wouldn't dare. Then why are you taking 2 days off? Suyu was afraid that An wouldn't listen to him and meet that liar on WeChat. In the end, he would be completely hurt. I have an aunt. Her son is getting married tomorrow. Which aunt? I remember your aunt's son is only 11 years old. Not that one, another one. How about this, I'll go back to my hometown to attend the wedding tomorrow. I can provide a few luxury cars. What do you think? No need, I can go by myself. Don't mention it. I have nothing to do anyway, so I'll accompany you. Seeing Suyu's firm attitude, and didn't dare to continue asking for leave. Boss, I'd better not ask for leave. I suddenly remembered that my aunt didn't treat me very well in the past. Ha. Yes, it's better if you don't go. Go back to work. Okay. And walked out in disappointment, but he didn't forget to pick up his phone and keep sending WeChat messages. Suyu knew that this kid was lying. Shaoan had been with him for many years. How could Suyu not know what kind of relatives An had? However, even though the holidays were cancelled, he was still worried. Suyu picked up the phone and dialed the internal number. Yuanyu, from today onwards, follow An during the day. Don't let him go anywhere. Follow him after work too. I'll go find him when I'm done. Okay, President Su. Yuanyu was the deputy leader of the security department. He was young and skilled. He and An hit it off very well. And didn't have any relatives or friends, so other than Suyu, the only person he got along well with was Yuanyu. Suyu didn't want him to meet a girl he met on WeChat, so he asked Yuanyu to follow him.
Suyu was also thinking that he should find a good girl for An. He couldn't let him stay single forever. It was time for him to start a family. In the afternoon, Suyu took care of a lot of documents and had 3 meetings of different sizes. After rejecting all the social engagements, Suyu drove away after work. In order not to attract attention, he drove a black Audi. After all, if a Lamborghini appeared on the streets of Second High, it would cause a commotion. When Suyu arrived, Huamin wasn't there yet. He picked up his phone and sent a WeChat message to Huamin. I'm here.
Chapter 46:13. Okay, if you're hungry, eat first. I'll pay the bill later. What are you talking about? I can't afford the bill myself. Suyu retorted angrily. On the bus, Huamin looked at his phone and almost laughed out loud. From his tone, it was as if he could see Suyu's three-dimensional expression. I'm still on the bus. You still have to wait for me for 10 minutes. No problem, there's no rush. Be careful on the way. Then, Suyu played a game on his phone. Suyu liked white Versace. Compared to many luxury brands, this brand's price was acceptable. With Suyu's identity, he could afford to wear anything. However, he liked the design of this brand. It was the demonic style of the snake woman. Today, he was only wearing a pair of light-colored casual pants and a simple white short-sleeved shirt. In the middle was the Snake Woman logo. This simple casual style was Su Yu's favorite. Other than the suits he usually wore at the company, almost all of Su Yu's clothes were Versace. At this moment, two girls walked into the shop. They looked to be in their early 20s. After eating so much ramen, Aoxayan's ramen is still the best, one of them said. Yeah, the food in our university's cafeteria is terrible. It's not even as good as our middle school's. Fortunately, it's close. The two of them walked in one after another, sat down, and ordered a bowl of noodles. Su Yu was dressed in branded clothes and was handsome. The phone in his hand was the latest model on the market. These female students with strong vanity loved it the most. Hey, look. That's so handsome. He looks like a rich second-generation heir. Looks are indeed my cup of tea. One of the girls who had plastic surgery on her face smiled and flipped her long hair. She walked over with small steps. She said in a tone that only existed in Korean dramas, "Little brother, can we add each other on WeChat?" Su Yu was so focused on playing with his phone that he didn't think that she was talking to him. After all, he was already so old and still had to be hit on by these girls. "Little brother, please look at me." The girl pouted and looked at Su Yu pitifully. Before Su Yu could say anything, a voice came from outside the door. "Su Yu, she's talking to you." Su Yu raised his head and looked at the girl in front of him. She happened to block his line of sight, so he couldn't see Hwamin. Su Yu waved at the girl impatiently. "Please stand aside. I can't see my friend." The girl's expression changed slightly. She had such good looks, a good figure, and a pretty face. She had almost never been rejected. Why is it that this time, the girl stepped aside awkwardly and turned around to look at the girl who came in? Looking at Hwamin's ordinary looks, she was even more dissatisfied. "Little brother, it's just adding me on WeChat. Do you have to be so petty?" This time, the girl stomped her feet and pouted, acting cute to the extreme. Su Yu almost threw up. "You can ask my wife." "If she agrees, I'll do it." Su Yu pointed at Hwamin and said. The girl's expression immediately changed. She didn't expect them to be husband and wife. This was a joke. She flirted with the couple. Hwamin looked at the girl with a smile. "Why don't you add me on WeChat?" It's okay, sister." After speaking, the girl awkwardly pulled her friend away without even leaving money. It was extremely unkind. When the owner's beef noodles were served, the two girls were already gone. Where did they go? The owner was puzzled. "Boss, give it to us. We wanted to order 2 servings too." "Thank you, Miss Hua, you've been patronizing our shop all these years." The owner obviously knew Hwamin. After the owner put down the noodles, he glanced at Su Yu. "Is this your boyfriend?" The owner actually started gossiping. Before Hwamin could say anything, Su Yu immediately corrected him, "I'm not her boyfriend." Only then did Hwamin heave a sigh of relief. "I'm her fiancé," Su Yu said again. Hwamin. Chapter 46:14. "Miss Hua, you're getting married soon. Congratulations. Today's noodles are on me." The boss was really happy. Perhaps he had always thought that Hwamin was a good person. "What are you talking about?" Hwamin looked at Su Yu and asked through gritted teeth. "Did you see that? I cheated the boss out of a bowl of beef noodles. It's so worth it. That's all you've got." Hwamin was both angry and amused. Su Yu changed the topic. "Hurry up and eat. It won't taste good when it gets cold." Then, Siyu swallowed the noodles in a few big bites as if he was eating the best food in the world. Boss, one more bowl. Okay. What? You really eat as much as you want for free. Huamin laughed at Siyu. Nonsense. Am I the kind of person who's greedy for small gains? You are. Huamin was arguing with Siyu and thought that he would retort. Unexpectedly, Siyu took advantage of Huamin's distraction and used his chopsticks to pick up a mouthful of noodles from his bowl. Hey, Siyu. Aren't you being too mean? Huamin was angry. I can't wait anymore and I'm hungry. If you think I'm dirty, you can give me the rest of your noodles. I don't think you're dirty. Don't even think about it. Huamin hugged his bowl and refused to let go. It was only 2 yuan worth of noodles, but the two of them were really playing hard. However, Siyu was in a good mood. To be honest, Oxane's noodles were not bad, but it was not at the level of being extremely delicious. The reason why there were still many customers over the years was that most of them graduated from second high school. Secondly, and very importantly, they had not increased the price for so many years. It had always been 2 yuan per bowl. Of course, it was not a very big bowl. It might only be a few mouthfuls with some minced meat. But it was still a reasonable price. With the current prices in Sea City, if they went to other noodle restaurants, the price would be much lower. A bowl of beef ramen cost at least 15 renminbi. The reason why he wanted to eat ramen here was because he knew that Huamin's alma mater was here. Secondly, she wanted to live a normal life with Huamin. Huamin also had a good appetite today. Siyu ate 4 bowls in one go. Huamin also ate 2 bowls and added a lot of beef. When it was time to pay the bill, the boss refused to accept any money. He said that it was to congratulate Huamin on his wedding. Siyu was also embarrassed. He secretly threw 100 yuan at the bar and left with Huamin. After eating and drinking to one's heart's content, it was easy for one to feel happy. When they walked out, there was even a slight breeze. It was a wonderful feeling. I'm a bit full. Let's do some exercise. Can you take me for a walk in second high? Siyu suggested. Our school's field is very big. If you walk, you'll be exhausted. Pfft. You're underestimating me. I usually work out like it's just a walk. I won't be tired. Then let's go. I'm happy to keep you company. Huamin rarely wore high heels, so he wore a pair of white sneakers every day. In winter, he would choose thick snowshoes. The two of them strolled by the field. They could vaguely hear the sound of students reading aloud from the school building. The two of them walked in the warm summer night. Neither of them spoke, as if they were afraid of breaking this beautiful and peaceful atmosphere. After a long time, Siyu suddenly turned his head and asked Huamin. I heard that you were a super straight-A student in second high. Chapter 46:15. Huamin smiled but didn't say anything. What are you laughing at? Did I say something wrong? Siyu was puzzled. No, you're right. It's just that I'm not only a top student in second high, but also in primary school and junior high. Naturally, I'm a top student in second high. Then why didn't you study abroad? I heard that you received a scholarship from a university in Singapore. After Siyu arrived in the parallel world, he realized that the people here were the same as in the other world. However, their fates were somewhat different. For example, Ning Ziyuan married He Man, not Wu Xiaoxue. When Huamin was in second high, she didn't meet Qin Chu. Hua Xiqian and Huamin were half-siblings. All of this shocked Siyu. Later, he investigated the past of these people again and found out that Huamin had always been excellent since she was young. However, in the face of so many offers from foreign universities, she still didn't choose to go abroad. Instead, she stayed in a medical university in the city. After completing her undergraduate degree, she came out to work. Everything that had happened was a pity. Singapore, forget it, it's not fated with me. Huamin smiled bitterly, as if she didn't want to talk about this. Suyut saw her expression and didn't continue to ask. You rich people don't understand the world of the commoners, Huamin joked. Suyut nodded seriously. You commoners don't understand the world of the rich people either. Of course. That's why I've decided to pull you into my world of the rich people to understand. Huamin quickly shook her head. Forget it, I can't get used to it. Then I'll go to the commoner's world to understand. What do you think if I move near your house? Huamin was stunned. I've asked around. The Wu family next to your house is very sincere in selling, and the price isn't high. A courtyard is only 800,000 yuan. Auntie Wu's house. Huamin frowned. I'm not sure. My subordinate went down to discuss it. Su Yu, you're crazy. There's no sign of any demolition in our area. What's the point of buying that house? The environment is terrible, the air is foul, and the traffic is inconvenient. The roads are full of craters as if they were bombed by bombers. Even your Lamborghini would be bumpy over there. Huamin felt that it was not worth it for Su Yu. Why did he have to buy a one-story house and a small courtyard for 800,000 yuan? Auntie Wu's family was really greedy. It's not expensive, it's fine as long as I'm willing. Su Yu was happy. Then you can buy mine. I'll sell it to you for 790,000. If you pay in one go. I can even give you a discount. How about 78? 8 yuan. Su Yu, then, we can use the 780,000 yuan you gave us to buy 2 apartments in the suburbs. We can even buy my brother's wedding house, Huamin said happily. Su Yu, what do you think? Su Yu, buy mine. It's cheaper than Auntie Wu's house, Huamin continued to tease him. The problem is, I want to buy that house because I want to be your neighbor. Damn it, now you want to sell your house to me. Am I going for your Auntie Wu? Ha ha ha. Huamin bent over with laughter. He didn't expect Su Yu to be so funny. Su Yu didn't laugh. Instead, he looked at Huamin with a wronged expression. This damn girl's brain wasn't ordinary. How could she say something like that? Not only was she trying to steal from her neighbor. She even wanted to buy a wedding house for her brother. She was indeed China's best sister. What are you laughing at? Stop laughing. Be serious. Okay, let's stop fooling around. Don't buy my house, it's really not worth it. There was a developer who wanted it and negotiated with us. In the end, they offered 1,600 yuan per square meter. My house is only about 80 square meters, so the total price is only 128,000 yuan. If you give Auntie Wu 800,000 yuan at once, wouldn't she be ecstatic? Mian. I told my grandpa yesterday. I want to get married, so you suddenly brought up this matter. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.